one thing I might have to do, Sword.
Hmm?
Hmm. I have got to mute you on Discord real quick.
Okay.
That should work.
What's up?
Well, because I'm double hearing your voice through the stream.
Oh, well. Dude, do I just need to hop out? Would that make this easier?
Ah, you're good.
My thing is how are we gonna know when we're live?
And are you watching the video?
I just see the countdown, but
Yep. Yes, I do.
countdown, yes.
Thank you. Uh, no. We
No,
have
sir.
no sound. All right. How are we doing? This is something very different. Sword, how are you doing, my friend? Sword.
I'm doing good, Navo.
Ah. So this is something different.
It is very
It
different.
it is something very different and coming all the way live from Milan. Well, I'm in the comfort of my home.
That's crazy. I mean, this is a huge opportunity for not only like the virtual dirt bike community, but obviously MX bikes. We're over here in America watching this land happen in Italy, which that's just crazy to say out loud.
Yeah, it is something kind of unreal for, at least for our small game and everything, but it is a really big kind of step here into a much larger world. And these guys have a bit of a treat here with just the amount of, I mean, a lot of things right now. They're some of the best riders we have able to go out there, and it's been a long qualifying road this whole time to for them to get there.
Yeah, I mean, a small refresher, I guess, for those at home who maybe are watching and don't really know how we got here. To get to this LAN event live in Italy, there were 4 online qualifiers that were ran, week to week to narrow it down to the 10 fastest guys that you're going to see today, which is, like you said, it's been a long road.
Yeah, and just kind of breaking down, and it was 4 motocross tracks all the way across, the big motocross tracks of Italy, Sardinia, Majora. It just a long road for them, and coming into now what is a more supercross style track. It's going to be very interesting, and this can really be a lot more anyone's race than just what we've seen from Cam over the course of these past 4 qualifying rounds. Do you think he's got it in him to keep this massive amount of winning he's got going?
I think what's crazy, right? Cam has been utterly dominant in these 4 qualifying rounds. Like it's realistically not even been close. And the difference here, it being a more, to your point, supercross style track, I don't know if Cam's going to have the just raw speed advantage like he has on the motocross tracks, just being able to like let it wide open. Lens, obviously, in the 4th spot, I believe, I think he's rocking the number 4 today. He's very good at Supercross, and I would say if anyone has a shot at dethroning Cam's 4-week reign, it's got to be Lens.
I completely agree with you though, and I don't know much about 2 of our Frenchmen that we have of Dorian Merritt, and now I cannot currently remember his name right off the top of my head. Oh, Valentin. That's the one I wanted
Yeah,
right
about
there. I don't quite know their Supercross experience, so I am very interested to see how they do it. And I know as well Reaper Doc, who did qualify for a few main events last Supercross season. He has definitely been grinding out some amount of Supercross to be here, but it's a hard say for Linz or Cam.
it. It really is, and again, what will make this a little different than say what folks are used to seeing IRL or even the North American broadcast that that you normally do is there's only going to be 10 riders out there. Normally it's going to have it's 20 plus riders. So it's going to be interesting to see how that comes into play with the pace that some of the front guys are able to maintain. They normally get into lappers pretty quick, and in this kind of regard, I don't know that that's really going to be a factor.
And and from everything at least I've seen from it too, it is a very different kind of Supercross track. It is not something that you would see from your typical Indianapolis's or your Anaheims. It's kind of a bit more built like a Daytona Supercross, just in a smaller
Yeah,
setting.
I was gonna say it reminds me of the SMX rounds that we had there toward the
Mm.
end of the year. Not as big though. That's what's kind of maybe the Charlotte track. Charlotte was the smallest of the three. Take that back. Charlotte and the Los Angeles Coliseum were both quite small compared to the Chicago. But it that's what it reminds me of, just as a knee jerk reaction. Um, so, and the other thing is we haven't really seen a full lap on this track. We've seen bits and pieces of the track, so we're going to be having to learn the track in real time with everyone at home. To be honest,
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. The little previews I've seen, there are some rhythm sections. There's a nice loamy sand section in it, and if that's your thing as well, there's some freestyle stuff off to the side.
yeah,
But
I
it is
got word. I think we're getting a small little freestyle intermission at some point. I think maybe between race 1 and 2. So we'll have to wait and see if that actually happens. Which I guess that's kind of a segue. As we understand it, the show today is going to consist of the practice, which I do believe has already happened, qualifying, which might actually be going on right now. And then we're going to have race 1, an intermission, and then race number 2.
In an intermission of freestyle.
I mean, yeah, you know me. I'm not much of a racer, so I am always down to see some freestyle.
Yeah, and we know it. You know, coming from one of the main freestyle boys there, be
I mean,
interested to see how the pro guys do in their freestyle.
I'll tell you this: they are first and foremost racers, but some of the pros have got a little steez, as the kids like to say.
I mean, if for one of the guys who is not here, we know that Skills definitely has some steez for his
Yeah,
freestyle.
he is no slouch tossing it sideways. And again, that's probably another good little segue. There are several people who are not old enough to compete at this land. Just I mean, again, this is the first year of it. It being an international competition, there did have to be an age limit, and a few of the very fast guys unfortunately could not partake. But again, like we said at the start, this is the first year of this, and I'm hoping that it only launches forward from here, and maybe we can have more of these lands all across the world, and that will open up the competition.
Yeah, absolutely, and I do think that this can end up being a lot bigger than just this, and it's a good step in a very different kind of direction for us. But I do think it is all in a good way right now, and I believe right now we are just waiting a little bit longer, as we're just breaking down this kind of game, this series a bit, and then we should be able to get the riders out. And I'm very excited for this word. These
I am
guys are
too.
putting a lot of work for this.
I'm curious to see what kind of nerves that we're going to see. Because here's one thing you have to remember: this is the first ever. I mean, again, the first ever LAN event for this video game. These guys are used to sitting in the confines of their own home, their own setups, and not dealing with quite literally all around the world watching. So it's going to be interesting to see who maybe has some pre-race nerves that comes, right out the gate. Do we see somebody loop their Larry, as they say, off the start? I mean, you really have to wonder what these guys are feeling.
You're absolutely right. I'd almost put it, kind of akin to, racing for that championship and coming down to it. But now for a lot of these guys, it is a different kind of setting in a way that none of these guys have ever experienced before.
Which
Eh,
with that has to come excitement. You know what I mean? Like
oh yeah,
they all have to be insanely excited. I think just making it to this point, that's one thing in itself that gives all of them confidence. But once they sit down in that chair and they realize that the lights are live and this is go time, it's yeah, like you said, it's the excitement is building. It kind of reminds me of you're going to like a roller coaster ride, and you have that anticipation in the line waiting to build up to actually get on it, and that's got to be what these guys are feeling right now.
it absolutely has to be. And I mean, honestly, I am very happy and proud of these guys for all the work they've done and gotten to do here. And now they're getting to show off, their kind of skill a lot more on a lot bigger stage than what we normally bring to them.
Well, and again, we kind of alluded to it earlier. This is a momentous historical occasion for this little niche community. I mean, MX bikes. People call it a small niche community, but like it's a lot bigger than people realize. Like a lot bigger. And this being this first small stepping stone to leap forward the competitive scene, it's really exciting. It really is. And I'm just hoping that no matter what happens today, we all take away that point of this is only the beginning. Rome wasn't built in a day, and yeah, we just got to go from here, and hopefully we get a nice turnout and just kind of see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. That is what I am really looking forward to. And it looks
Oh,
like we
look,
have
Mr.
got
Reaper Doc.
Reaper Doc, Mr. Chancey Sharp out there coming all the way. I believe he lives in Virginia right now.
Yeah, he's
Virginia.
somewhat close to me. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's one of the bigger YouTube sensations for this game, and he worked extremely hard to get to where he needed to be and was our last qualifier for this event. And I'm very happy to know that he made it all the way up there.
So it looks like they're going to call these guys out in order that they qualified. So of course Reaper got the final spot in the 10 spot there. Now it's got Jamie Longden, and I just realized now. I think Reaper is the lone United States competitor.
No.
No,
Willie is also
Willie. Okay, yeah.
from the US. Yeah, so this would be Jams. Jams coming out there. Jams on the MXB Mods Black Label team.
He pulled a fast one on us. Changed his name. Changed everything.
Yeah, it changed everything. Yeah, and we got
There's
Victor,
Victor.
the lone German. Victor Lau.
Rocking the 8, by the way. The 8 brethren.
Yeah, the number 8.
So here's something else. This is a bold prediction, I feel like. I think Victor is going to do a lot better than what maybe people who have been watching races think he's going to do today. It would not surprise me in the slightest to see him running top 5, top 3 early on.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, looking back to the MXB of Nations that we ran last week, he has a good amount of pace. And I'd be very interested to see how he does on this very new Supercross track for him.
So we got first 3 of 10 riders introduced. I think next up is, I'm trying to remember. I was trying to pull up the list.
It would be Aiden is the next one on our list. Yeah, one of our many UK riders. I just sent you the list as well.
There we go. That's exactly what I was needing. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so Aiden on the full exact team as our fastest guy in qualifying, Cam. He had a few good results, was a little bit disappointed in some of the rounds, but still managed to qualify 7th. And we have got our one and only other U.S. rider, and that will be Willie coming out of Maine.
Way up there in the U.S.
Hey, he's way up north.
Well, I was going to say, you basically border Canada, so does he, just on the other side of the U.S.?
Yeah, he's actually a lot further north. Further north than where I am, at least on the grand scale of things.
So, I'm not going to lie. I have not seen Willie ride a lot, so I'm fairly uneducated on his riding style and his finishes this past year. But again, I mean, he qualified 7th or 6th overall, so you got to think he's got some speed and some pace.
Oh yeah, Willie is got a good amount of pace on him, and I've seen him for 2 seasons now, I believe, and he is a quick one.
And also, I mean, not to backtrack, Aiden was the 2022 450 champion, was he not?
For Supercross?
I think it was Supercross, right? Yeah,
I believe so.
I think he was the NA champion. Anyway, but yes, I mean that's another champion out there. And then we got Jake coming in the 5 spot.
Yeah, Jake of Phil's racing team. One of the only Phil's racing team. Most of these guys, they're kind of running in a pack, really. The FXR guys, the MXB mods, LMC Kutvek. And then there's just a lone Reaper Doc, Willie the Privateer, and Jake Jr. of Phil's Racing.
I loved Willie's intro. Everyone had their teams and everything. And under Willie's name, it just said, no team. He's just a lone wolf.
The full Privateer. I don't think it said it for Reaper Doc either. It just gave him his name and his tag.
It did. It did. Yeah, you're right. I think we're getting word that maybe the stream volume
Yeah,
itself is low, but unfortunately, we can't really control any of that, guys.
Yeah.
We have got it full blast.
Yeah.
And then
there's the man they want to see right there.
arguably, yeah, arguably the biggest name in this entire thing, one of the biggest names in the entirety of MX Bikes. Love him or hate him, the man's put in the work, defending multi-time champion. And like I said, I would say this has to be everyone's pick to dethrone Cam if there was going to be someone.
It definitely would be. I would put him right up there, but I also believe the next two guys could have a very good chance as well. The two LMC Kutvik racing riders, and that'll be Valentin and Dorian Merritt. But we have all of our results from 4 motocross qualifiers to go to a supercross cross qualifier, and I'm not entirely sure. It's anyone's game.
Like, I'll say this: qualifying is qualifying, racing is racing. Anyone who has been around the sport, IRL or virtual, for any amount of time knows this. And that's why I say you can only take the qualifying results so far. And that's why I say, even though Lenz is down in the 4 spot, he's a racer when it comes down to it. So we'll see what happens. But there is Valentin on your screen.
Valentin Ledoux.
Love the last name, Ledoux.
Which actually makes a lot of sense, since I only see Valentin LDF, and that's just his initials at the end there. I mean, this is us. We're learning some of these guys' real names for the first time, and a lot of you guys also are. But oh man, God, I'm here for this work.
I am, and again, we're sitting here, we're saying the predictions based off of what we've seen happen throughout the year, but this is one of those events. Like I said, it's a one-of event at a LAN, and it's very possible that what we think is going to happen doesn't happen.
Look, bikes is a game that we have learned that anything will happen. If anything can happen, it's going to happen.
And I got to be honest, Dorian here, well, Dorian has come alive the last few weeks of the qualifier, as well as the Motocross of Nations last week. I mean, he was locking it down for France. He was up front early, both motos that he partook in. So it's going to be interesting to see if he has that carryover to this LAN event.
Yeah, I'm completely with you there.
And then there was one.
And the man himself, the most dominant qualifier over the course of the 4 qualifying rounds, who had a massive points lead by the end of it, led it all by 58 points from Yorkshire, England, Cam. He's got to be feeling it.
He does. I mean,
feeling it, right?
He got all the confidence in the world coming into this thing. Well, I mean, the last qualifier, he won by almost a minute. Just crazy stuff. But again, to go back in time now, though, what happened to Cam the last moto last week of MX Nations? He got buried. He did not get the start he wanted, and he was down bad.
And he absolutely was, and we've seen this a few times that, you know, Cam gets up and really puts on the gas, and it ends up causing him to have more mistakes just because of it. And that comes, I mean, with the nature of motocross, is when you start going and get it really ripping, is it's going to cause you to lose out a little bit more.
Well, and
But
a
I
lot of these guys are streaky riders, right? Not to cut you off, I'm sorry. A lot of these guys are confidence riders. When they feel the flow, they find their flow early, they stick in it. But then if they're having a day where they're not feeling it, they're not getting like into that groove that they need, that they might not perform like you think they're gonna perform.
yeah, it all becomes the head game. And once you start getting in your head, it can ruin your entire race.
You know, that's another thing. A lot of these guys are very cordial. I mean, they're meeting each other for like the first time. I wonder if there was any, light smack talk, anything like that beforehand. It makes you wonder. I, a part of me wants to say no, but then a part of me wants to say yes as well. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic. Also, again, like I said, they're not used to literally sitting beside their competition. It's going to be very fun to find out what happens.
Yeah, and we are just about ready to get our qualifying session going. So it's just going to be a few minutes here, and we are going to decide who gets their better gate pick. It is 10 riders, all vying for a different kind of glory here in Milan, Italy, for the EICMA Esports MX Championship.
I
And
love this
we can
too.
start it right. Oh, I love it too. We'll start it right now. Who do you got your money on for a top qualifier?
I mean, the obvious choice we literally just talked about in Cam, but you know, uh, I'm very interested to see what lines they take. I'm interested to see because, again, for the uninitiated bikes viewer or player or whatever, a lot of the times for qualifying, a lot of the lines they take are not the race lines. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. And since we haven't really seen this track yet, I'm assuming we're going to get to see the qualifying happening live here for the gate pick. So we will get to see kind of what lines the guys are taking to transition to the race lines, maybe. And again, talking about the analytical side of it, Linz is someone who, for the first few laps of qualifying, will simply kind of see what lines are there might not always go for the fast line to get that fast time in. He's going to be looking for race lines very early on in the qualifying before he starts trying to run the burner. I am very sure of that.
Yeah, I'm a put out a very interesting pick here. I think Jake Jr. or Aiden might have their chance here at the top qualifying spot.
I completely am on board with that. I really am, and I think that's the other beautiful thing about this. It's this is literally just for gate pick. You know what I'm saying? Like they're already
Yeah,
here. They're already qualified. Maybe somebody wants a specific gate, like a certain gate that maybe isn't the preferred gate. Because again, you have to take in
yeah,
consideration this is so different in the way of usually when they're picking their gate, they're trying to pick a gate to avoid the carnage. If you have ever watched MX bikes, everyone knows of the infamous first turn pileups, but there are only 10 people out here. You don't necessarily have to be right beside somebody or try to get beside competition you want. I think if anything, they're just trying to find the best line going down the star straight to get through that first corner clean.
I completely agree with you, and I do think and believe, with only 10 riders out here and 10 of some of the best riders that the game has to offer, I do see that this would be one of the cleanest race starts we will ever see at the pro scene.
Which I'm all for.
And I'm all for it, all for it. We had through the qualifying though, it was fairly clean all the way through, but it is something I'm very much looking forward to. And as soon as they get this going, this is going to be even our first full look at this new track. And as far as I'm aware, this is the track that is built in this stadium where they're at. And they're doing the real life races on this track as well.
Which is so cool. It's the little stuff like that that makes events so much cooler. And that's the one thing that I've loved throughout the last few years with the Supercross seasons, the outdoor seasons for ARL. Like the tracks are literally built to look just like they do IRL. And I'm not even talking about just the track itself. I'm talking about the surrounding environment. So to see that translate over to this land is very cool because again, I'm probably sound like a broken record here, but I'm sure there's somebody out there seeing this world for the first time. Maybe not that many, but even to see that, maybe that leads them to thinking like, you know what, I want to try to do that. I want to go pick that game up. I want to see if I can, get good at it or what have you. But here we are, Nava. We're getting into the qualifying, and we're going to see our first look at the track. So right off the bat, we got a whoop section.
Yeah, and this right here, just looking at it, it is a very textbook Stone Rider Supercross track. And we're looking right now on our #1 rider with the red plate, our top qualifier, Cam, getting his first few qualifying laps in.
Got a little on-off triple section there going into the whoop section. Whoops look pretty big. As anything, though, since this does look, like you said, a very Stone Rider-esque track, it's going to be interesting to see how it breaks down with the erode. Again, for the uninitiated of MX bikes, there is a erode system, and usually it gets beat up pretty fast with more riders out here, but with only 10 riders, I'm curious to see what the erode does. If it might be turned up, maybe there's if we could get an idea of what the erode is set to, we'd have a better idea. But you'd have to imagine it's not going to be the same erode that the guys are used to seeing throughout Supercross seasons.
Yeah, it very well may just be the normal count that we usually see. I do know that Nico and Stone Rider are both there, really kind of running the game side of this.
Ooh.
And just like that, Cam with a 50.732 will sit as the top qualifying spot just in his opening few minutes, but Lynn's 2/100ths behind him.
I noticed the single into that corner is going to be interesting because the single, if they go way out to that berm, they're going to lose time. So you saw Lynn's single into the corner and try to cut the apex off very, very early. I'm curious to see if anyone decides to go wide come race time.
Yeah, it is starting to, get a little close there. Aiden sitting 2/10 behind. Jake Jr. of Phil's Racing 7/10 behind. Victor 2 seconds off. Willie now coming in 6th in qualifying. Reaper Doc, he's got to pick up some time. 7 seconds down. Valentine in there as well in 8th, and we do not have a time set yet for Dorian Merritt and Jams.
Yeah, I see Jams doing the same thing, or not Jams. That is Dorian cutting the apex of that corner.
Yeah, this is really their last time to get in there and do what they can and find their lines, just as you were saying, Swerd, to see what their fastest areas are. And it's gonna have to be trying out those different lines too, depending on how eroded this track gets. They're gonna have to figure out their optional lines and go through it.
So far, it looks like the big thing that could separate people is the main rhythm right before the finish line. I see a couple ways to go through that. All the rest of it seems pretty standard. The sand section looks like they can uncork it a little bit, see them sitting and standing going into those pockets, but yeah, right off the bat, I don't see too many places you see, like, that's a big sweeper. They almost do a complete 180. But this is, they're going to step on, no, I'm sorry, yeah. So there's a line where they'll step onto that, what you just saw there, that tabletop. And then that time, I think that was Aiden who tripled in. Like I said, I think that's going to be the section of the track where you see people make or lose time.
I completely agree with you, and that comes with rhythm sections as just a general throughout all of Supercross that we know. Is there are going to be guys that try for bigger lines that are going to gain you more time, but they do come at a risk.
Well, and again, this is another little wrinkle that throws it into it, is sometimes the big lines do not become available immediately. They come available once the erode starts to set in, but yet again, only 10 riders means a road's not going to set in as fast, which means big lines might not come into play until later in. So look at this. Woo! It's a big line in. That was probably the biggest one I've seen so far. You see people casing, trying the big line. That was Victor, I believe.
Yeah, and look at this. Dorian Merritt now setting the fastest qualifying time at the moment. And Linz is going to take that
beats him
right away by half a second. Almost a 49 flat. He's going to be a 49.3. Dorian Merritt of LMC Kutbik Racing will be half a second behind him. Victor's going to move into third. Aiden in fourth. Reaper Doc in fifth. Willie Cam dropping down to 7. Jake Jr., Jams, and Valentin. So this is a very interesting kind of short Supercross track.
It very much is, and like I said, I honestly think this line. See, look, everybody's going for that big line now. They've already found it, and that's the other thing. At this level of the game, it does not take people long to figure out what everyone else is going to be doing. But the real question will be is once we see what everyone is doing, who decides to start not doing what everyone's doing, whether that be to try to make up time on another spot of the track, or maybe just to try to, find something completely new that gives them an edge that the other guys don't have. It's very interesting to see, but to your point, the track being this small, so to say, is going to possibly present some passing opportunities in not the normal spots.
Yeah, and there's one thing you can't keep out of your mind. All these guys are riding the same bikes. Mm-hmm. They're all riding the TM, the Italian Stallion itself, a bike that these guys are used to for the motocross with all the qualifying. Not so much with Supercross.
Are they 5ing into that section? Am I crazy? It's definitely a quad, but I was just that may be a 5. I gotta see that again.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get another look at it. But yeah, that whole point of the TM is a very different bike than what a lot of these guys ride. I know a lot of these guys, they kind of, especially for the 450s, the Yamaha, the KTM is coming up a bit more. Even, the Husqvarna has been kind of more of the bike of choice moving into our Supercross series back in, or coming up in January. So these guys are trying to still fine-tune their setups when they go back into the pits before taking another lap. And Cam,
it's a quad, and it's a quad. He's quadding the triple table, and then he's tripling out. So they're essentially going quad, triple there.
Yeah. Cam takes over that top spot once again, a 48.2. And Victor just sitting right on that cusp there, a half a second behind. So Cam still finding a whole nother gear in this type of pace.
That section there also, you could see some different lines. You see people stepping off that table, but you also could jump over that table. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think that ball corner before the whoops is going to be a passing spot, just what I've seen so far. And I think, we see that front end go down there for Willie. The sand sections can be tricky on the entry if you come in too hot because you're going to wash the front end like that. But I think this bowl corner before the whoops is going to be a spot if somebody gets a good run through that little mini rhythm before the main rhythm. But yeah, honestly, that might be the spot. I see no reason for anybody now that we see the POV there, I see no reason for anyone to ever go to the top of that berm. Maybe to get a better drive going back down that flat area, but I realistically just don't see that happening.
I do not either, but there's going to be some very interesting lines here. This sand section already kind of makes it very tricky.
I think it's because it just doesn't end. It just keeps circling around, and you're pinning the gas off the gas, pinning the gas off the gas. It's going to be really easy to make mistakes toward the end of that, I think.
And I mean, and like we know with Supercross, mistakes cost positions and cost time with such a short track and very short lap times.
See Victor going through the sand section right here. Look, he's keeping a nice, tight, narrow line. Then he's going to the berm here, and he's going to triple this whole section. Ooh, that's a big line. That's a big line. That might be asking a little much for the TM.
You just saw with the head movement right now, he was not very happy with that. But still, Alf gets Deutschland for Victor.
On board with the Reaper now. Ooh, he gets to save the front end there.
Yeah, that's a good save. And you just kind of see the body language of these guys which is it's a nice kind of thing to have. And
Oh, that triple out is big.
Yeah, you got to see that little bit of difference of some guys, you know, they like to ride in third person for this game, and some of them like myself.
I'm a third person guy, Navo. I'm gonna say it. I'm a third person guy through and through 24/7.
I am a first person guy through and through 24/7. I do not do the
to be
third
fair,
person on this.
I think 90% of the bikes community is first person. There's definitely a small, well, and I'll say this, there are a lot of people that go in and out. There's some free riding guys that like to free ride in third person, and then if they are just running laps, they'll do first person. But it definitely just comes down to preference. I don't think that there's a, you know, people joke about it, an advantage of which view is best. Although people will try to make you believe that their view is best, and that's just kind of the way it goes.
I am a very firm believer of you do whatever you think is best for you. And I learned very, very early that I am a far better commentator than a racer.
Oh, same.
and I am here for that, because I have tried my time and tried to qualify for some of these pro races, but the work these guys put in and day out to be this fast is the reason why these guys are here. As we are on board with Cam, the top qualifier, by a very large margin.
He gets that triple clean. Oh, look, he's oh, there's the quad in. Another quad double.
He did catch up with a tough block there just a little bit, and that's going to lose him a little bit of time on that. But he is sitting very firm with a 47.5 as the fastest lap of this qualifier. It's where Cam is feeling it.
Cam was
absolutely feeling it.
He took a little time. I mean, he was down there in the 7, 8, 9 position for a bit after jumping out very early right off the bat with the top time. But then I think he was trying to find something, and now he has asserted the dominance. But here's something interesting, though. If you look at timing and scoring, look at the gaps between first through third. It is nothing.
It is very, and we talked about this in the pre-race. You know, Linz is not someone to sleep on, and nor is Dorian Merritt. And it is going to be very interesting to see how this goes. And even Victor himself, he knows he can find a bit more pace. It is there for him, and he does have the skill and ability to do it. He's just going to have to dig deep and find those spots on this track where he can make up that amount of time, because he is not far off a podium spot just for this qualifying. And that is, you know, these actual motos are gonna be longer. It is not gonna be a sprint. It is a marathon through it, and there will be mistakes made by each of these guys. I will say, you can also say the same for Willie too, who had a few amazing qualifying races, especially our last one at Sardinia, the roughest sand track that you will find out here, and he had some very good driving runs to put himself really high up in the standings. But I will say, I am just happy to see Reaper Doc out there right now. He's sitting 10th in qualifying, but for my good friend, he's got to be feeling pretty solid about himself, and just to be out there too.
Again, though, and people, again, without throwing shade or this and that, people will say that, you know, this isn't got all the fastest guys in it. You still got to go out there and perform. And Reaper has put in work. I mean, again, he is a content machine. Everyone knows this who is around. Oh my gosh, MX Bikes moment right there. Reaper has put in the work. He is the literal definition of a grinder from the content side. The amount of hours that he's put in the last like 6 months is otherworldly. He deserves to be here, and I'm very happy that he's getting to partake in this. And I think for him, he just wants to have a solid showing. I spoke with him briefly after his third moto of the MX of Nations last week. He literally pulls out in second, runs third for almost half the entire event, and he said that was the best race he's ever had, and he definitely loved that feeling, and he wants to feel it more. So I can only imagine Here the stage is even bigger, a live LAN. I know he wants to come out and just have a solid showing and feel like he did himself justice.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And to your point of not having all the fastest guys out there, it is an 18 and up event because there's travel expenses and there are some very big prizes on the line. So you're not getting all who you would normally see, but honestly, at
It's
least
still a
from
strong showing.
and a lot of these guys are some of the top guys you would see in our EU series. They are arguably some of the fastest in the EU series. With, of course, you got some extra ones in there, like that of Willie and Reaper being in there.
Ooh.
But it's still something. It's something very different. It is very cool, and Sword, I'm just glad to be a part of it.
I am too. And again, shout out to the folks hosting this event. I mean, obviously, we could not be here doing this without them. And I think we're in for a solid treat. I really, really do. So it looks like qualifying has ended. And that means, Nava, we are that much closer to dropping the gate for the first time. Oh, man.
We absolutely are, and Cam, just like he is continuing throughout the qualifying rounds, he is up there in first for the qualifying session for the gate pick. Linz will be in second, and Dorian Merritt will be in third. And that's three of the top four guys we had in qualifying these
Look at that.
4 rounds.
47-47, you can see on the screen there. So Cam, yes, is our fastest qualifier, but only by the slimmest of margins.
It's very close. It is a very close. Can I tell you, I'm a little jealous of their jerseys.
Right?
I'm a little sad the commentator can't go on. I'm a little sad about that. They look very clean. And looking at Cam right there, the man himself. I'm very interested to see how he can do for these long 2 motos and if he will hold on and just be the outright victor, talking with his teammate there, Aiden. I
So I
do
was gonna be
wonder if they're.
curious.
Oh, go
Well,
ahead.
I
Go ahead.
was just gonna say it's gonna be curious. Like the nerves are high after that. They just did their qualifying laps live in front of all these people. I wonder who's talking about lines or who is not talking about lines. I'm doing this.
Oh,
What are you doing? Like it's gonna be interesting. When does the camaraderie start to go out the window a little bit, and then it's every man for himself?
I bet it. I bet there might be some team orders in play, especially for you got a few amount of guys who are actual teammates out there, and I wonder where at points of stopping and not stopping the team orders just to let your teammate go or just try to go for glory.
Again,
Well,
us we can't really hear everything that's happening there, but you can only imagine the first question there for Cam is, "How are you so fast?"
yeah, I wonder if we can't hear a bit more what they're saying.
So the people can also see you. That was great. You did amazing. So I didn't hear what you said, so I'm going to ask again, since that's okay. So how was today? This is qualifying. First step of the process for today. How you feel?
I feel pretty confident. I was just saying everyone seems to be somewhere near the same speed because the track is quite.
We'll see if we can try to get you guys watching at home the mainstream audio that we're seeing. See if we can get a bit louder.
Hey, Sword, let him do the interview.
Dice che si sente molto confident. No, come si dice in italiano confident? Aiuto. Sicuro. Si sente molto sicuro, la pista è abbastanza livellata, quindi abbiamo anche notato che i tempi sono tutti molto vicini uno con quell'altro e quindi di conseguenza dice che spera di portare a casa la vittoria e si sente molto bene.
How many hours a day do you practice?
Recently, not that many, but probably 3 or 4. Not too much at the moment. When I first broke my leg, I did about 7 or 8.
Sì, dice, gli è stato chiesto quante ore al giorno si allena. Ultimamente sulle 3-4 ore al giorno, però è anche successo che ne faceva 6 o 7. Se vuoi essere professionista lo devi fare.
No, assolutamente. No, noi dicevamo che appunto come in tutti i giochi è come se fosse appunto lo sport reale, cioè ti devi allenare come... Poi sono tutti professionisti.
Sì.
Ora io non so se è regolamentato e quindi loro sono proprio professionisti, non so all'estero
allora,
come funziona.
non c'è ancora proprio un regolamento per determinare se ha una licenza da professionista oppure no. Ci stiamo arrivando.
Ci sta,
non siamo ancora lì, però i campionati che ci sono a livello mondiale, quindi siccome ti devi qualificare alla fine, se sei più bravo partecipi nella categoria pro, se sei un pochino meno bravo partecipi nella categoria amatoriale.
Who's the second?
Chi è che abbiamo di secondo?
Chi è il secondo?
Linz! Well, congrats, that was good. You were up there for a little while, so how you feel?
I feel very good. There's some big lines on the track to hit. There's a quad at the start of the last rhythm section before the finish line, which kind of makes or breaks a qualifying lap. So I got that on a couple of attempts, which I'm happy with, and feeling a lot more comfortable on the track now than I was in practice earlier today. And I'm just excited to get into the race. I feel comfortable on it, and it should be good.
Awesome. Vuoi farti te la traduzione?
No, volevo fare una domanda. Vai,
ok, faccio un attimo la traduzione al volo. Dice che c'è una parte della pista che è molto molto difficile, che ti dà la possibilità o di andare forte o di non riuscire a fare un buon giro di qualifica. Fortunatamente è riuscito a farne un paio e quindi di conseguenza è in cima alla classifica anche lui. Si sente anche lui molto motivato e non vede l'ora di iniziare a correre.
Diamo in bocca al lupo a tutti ragazzi, good luck to everyone.
Oh yeah, it is fantastic.
Ok, good luck.
Ritorniamo in nostra
I think
postazione
that
allora
60 minuti.
Yeah, the only thing was just the stream volume that we hear is just it's
vince secondo te la vince? Secondo lei la Steffi non l'ha detto, però ce l'ha tenuto nascosto che era bello scomodo, Cam. Però ma lo vedo proprio calmo io, calmo. Vai. Vieni Steffi. Prego. Allora,
ma tu mi senti?
Riaccendiamo.
Ok, stavo dicendo, a volte la calma però può giocare brutti scherzi.
Ma guardalo,
sta nel turbo chill,
c'ha l'ice nelle vene lui.
Sta nel turbo chill.
Sì. Ma lui è l'asciugamanino, dai. Guarda, forseggia la sua...
Hello.
Allora, adesso abbiamo 20 minuti, vedi? 20 minuti, non 15.
Sì. Siamo un po' in
Yeah.
ritardo, però... Non so quando sono pronti per partire.
Allora, quindi abbiamo...
Yeah, all right. Nice and easy. So some good interviews there, having a good talk, and
Dorian,
we're going to be moving very shortly to our actual motos, and this is where it's all going to come down to the real wire there.
Allora, Cam primo. È sparito. Vabbè, è stato divertente. Ci ho provato.
Miki, domanda.
it's time now though.
It is very much time, and I am here for it.
Ma dopo questa giornata.
But
You got to think that was some of the first times those guys just had interviews. I wonder how cool that was.
not the kind of basic interviews I do for guys. This is real interviews.
I mean,
I
your
saw-
interviews
I saw
are real
Lit-
interviews, but
Yeah, trying to do what we can, make this such a real experience. I think I saw Lynn just shaking a little bit there.
yeah, again, I think Lynn's probably wanted to come out and be as close to Cam as possible. Maybe like see what Cam was doing, because again, that's going to be. And again, my prediction is going to be between Linz and Cam pretty much throughout the entire thing, unless somebody has an unfortunate start or anything like that. But again, it's not going to be that hard to come through the pack because there's not so many people out there. But again, you just got to remember the qualifying's over. It's done with. Now we do the real thing, and yeah,
And
it's going to be wild.
It is all gonna come down to this word: two motos to crown a champion here for the EICMA MX Championship in Milan, Italy.
No, perché proprio non so
Somebody gets to literally go home and say, I am the literal champion from the first ever MX Bikes LAN that took place in Milan, Italy. That's just, it's crazy to say out loud, but it's here.
It's what it is, and I just want to say I'm very happy for all of those guys. It's a party.
What an event!
I want to go to this.
Ma tu lo sai che è tutta fisica?
What next year? The swear next year are we booking our tickets? We're going there next year.
I'm down. I am more than down. It looks like a time. It looks like a time and a half.
It really does. I mean I've seen the Instagram pictures and everything out there, and I just love motorcycles, man.
Well, and
get out there.
So do I. And one thing to bring to everyone's attention: this is not the only thing happening live at this event right now. There are other esports taking place, so it's a lot bigger than I think maybe some people realize. This is just one small part of it.
Yeah, it's there is so much to this. I'm just gonna call it's a motorcycle festival of what it is.
I like that. Look at this, Navo. Not to cut you off. I'm sorry, but exactly what we were talking about. Looks like Cam, I think on the red plate down there on the very inside.
Yeah, it does look, at least from what I can see, Cam all the way on the inside. I believe Linz is right in there, kind of right in the middle, still waiting for.
I think they're doing practice starts right here.
Love a good practice start.
Falsa partenza.
Yeah, just getting their starts dialed.
Yeah, it's what you gotta do.
Well, you have to think in a way, you know how we said that this would probably be the cleanest start in MX Bikes history. This is also one of those things, if you're Cam and you can pull the whole shot, I mean, you could check out early. You could have this done in the bag early. So you got to think that's what he's thinking about.
Not just Cam. No, we're good.
Però il mondo degli e-sport accorcia queste distanze, perché se tu riesci già ad andare bene in un contesto digitale, no, riesci a arrivare a conoscere. Ti ricordi prima che parlavamo del discorso del content creator? Molto prima. Quindi perché logicamente se sei piccolino, sei un ragazzino, una ragazzina.
Yeah, so it was looking like that was going to be the start, but we did have guys not quite able to get on the gate. So we will be dropping this Moto 1 gate here very soon. We're going to look at all of our competitors out here, even Victor and Reaper Doc, you know, just going over a little bit of things. This is that time to
look at that shot. Wow, what a shot!
Yeah. That's amazing. These guys right here are all just setting up. It's your time, you know, get those last minute tweaks to your setup and try to get everything set and now put yourself in the right mindset.
It's also, to your point there, we should have maybe mentioned it during the qualifying, but the bike that they're riding, the TM, is notorious for being a bucking bronco in the whoops. So I am curious at maybe what they have done setup-wise to make that less of a problem. And in doing so, did that maybe mess them up in other spots of the track? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're setting it up mainly not to be so, you know, loosey-goosey in the whoops. Does that affect your sand section? It's one of those things that, you know, you just got to think about.
It's that fine line, and I think it was Ricky Carmichael was saying in the last Supercross season that when you put sand onto a track, especially a Supercross track, it changes how your entire bike has to go, and it's about finding that good fine line for you to be able to make those transitions in those rhythm sections and still hold that good amount of pace through a rough sand section. So it's all about finding that real fine line, Swerve.
Yeah, and I honestly, the more that I've had time to kind of process it, and then when we saw the onboard cams of them going through the sand section, it is deceptively tight. And again, once the erode starts to break into the track, I'm curious if we're going to see some front ends go. Them trying to push too hard in that sand section.
Oh, Aiden is looking
Locked.
focused right now.
Absolutely locked in.
No, va bene, per me sono tutti
You can
bravissimi,
definitely
perché
tell
per essere
these
dei
boys
bravi-
are
Vince lo sport.
they are feeling it.
Bravi
Esattamente.
tutti,
Cam
bravissimi.
as well. Look at him.
Però possiamo anche ricordare cosa vincono
He's
questi
about ready to go.
perché
I'm ready to
questi
go.
ragazzi hanno dei premi fantastici.
Yeah, I'm
you ready?
I'm ready, man. I'm itching. You know what I'm saying? Like I just want to get on the gate. Let's get on the gate.
I just want that gate. So the gate drop is what we need.
So for those
It's the
watching
good
at
stuff.
home, you know, and I guess for us too, who are we taking for hole shots?
Ooh.
Oh, the gate's down.
Oh, we are completely underway, and Cam
Oh!
will grab that hole shot. It is just what he needed. The perfect start for him, and it is now his time to run away with it. But he does have Lens right behind him and Dorian Merritt
Oh,
as well.
Cam.
And Cam overjumped the triple. Loses out a bit of time, so Lens,
Out front early.
another rider out of the UK, getting that good start and getting the lead.
Here's Victor. We called it, Navo. Victor out front early here in the third spot. He's going to step on, step off. He has a little bit of a clip. This is that main section. You see, if you don't get that big line in, you're going to have to triple your way through the entire thing. Wow.
That's exactly what Cam did. Cam does it very clean, though, as he is really looking to get his countryman Lens. This is the more interesting battle that we all kind of knew was going to be coming between the two riders out of the UK.
Cam with a crazy run through the whoops.
Yeah, this is going to be all based on raw pace here, Sword, between these two.
I think you might see a bit of a Tomac Sexton, Lawrence Sexton-esque battle here with these two already going to be gapping the field by 4 seconds, Navo. And we are only a minute and a half into this.
Yeah, it is. This track is a whole different kind of beast.
Oh, Lens is in flow state. Oh, look, he looks over at Cam. Cam's down the inside to Lens. Cam makes the pass. Oh, and Lens went down. Oh, no. He's going to sacrifice the position.
Yeah, it looked like he tried to square up that corner a bit and ended up losing that front end to try to get that better drive, and now he has got to deal with the rider from Germany, that of Victor.
Lens with a crazy run through the whoops. He's going to blow by Victor on the outside going into the sand section. Does Victor hold it tight inside? Oh, Lens! He has to save it. What a save.
Yeah, what a save from him, almost losing.
Look at the low line, Navo. I honestly just realized that the low line in the sand section is so much faster.
Yeah, but it looked like it did get a little bit rougher
as you go through it. Lens is down.
Having problems. More problems for Lens. And he is going to lose even more spots. Jake Jr. of Phil's Racing is going to go through. Dorian Merritt of LMC Kupvik is going to go through. And that's going to put him behind a bit.
This is not what Lens wanted or needed. He is already down 11.1 seconds on Cam. Cam already put 5 seconds out on Victor. And Cam doing what he's done the entirety of this, Navo, and doesn't look like anything's going to change anytime soon. So now our eyes have to shift to second, third, and fourth. You can see.
Oh, Dorian Merritt makes a great inside pass in that sand section on Lens, and Lens is going to try to fight back for it, going for that double single route, and he will make that stick.
Oh, Lens is having a time.
He is not having a good time in that rhythm section, as he's going to lose out even more places. Reaper Doc and Willie are now out here fighting with Lens.
Lens with a block pass there on Aiden, it looked like. It's gonna get oh!
Big crash!
That is not what you want to see. And now look at this. Victor is going to have to claw, and that's not Victor, that is Dorian. Dorian had to clog his way through the whoops.
And now Dorian battling with Aiden a little bit more as we look at Reaper Doc now. And this right here, wasn't the best start for him, but he's having himself a solid ride now as he's put himself into 4th place. Still
again,
battling with Linz.
Reaper is not known for his speed. He never has been. He's been known for his consistency. And honestly, if you talk to Reaper, he would tell you he's better at Supercross than he is motocross. So he is in his comfort zone right now. And look at this, Reaper battling with Linz.
The battle of the YouTube sensation sword.
That is not a joke in any way, shape, or form. That is literal, as literal gets.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, just to throw out here our leader, Cam, 10.8 seconds. The lead he has over Jake Jr., who moves himself into 2nd place. Victor dropping down to 3rd. But that is the battle we are currently watching right now.
Oh, look at this, Navo. A lot of these guys have already opted out of that quad in. And see, that's the other thing. You can sit here and pull out the big lines all you want in qualifying, but then when racing starts, this is not a game or a esport that you can make mistakes in and expect to perform well. And the moment people start seeing other people crash on big lines, you tighten up a little bit. And you see Linz going for the single, the double single. You're seeing people go for the triple in instead of the quad in for the main line. So I wonder if Cam is still just uncorking the big lines out front because he has nobody around him.
He just needs to run his own race right now as we are looking at Victor's point of view, and he is very much feeling it right now.
We got to step on, step off. Oh, the off is just not there.
But it is.
Oh, we have another rider down.
That looked
Willie's
like
down.
That was Aiden and Willie were down in there. Well, that might have been Aiden and Doc, actually.
Yeah, actually, I think it was. Now on the first person cam with Linz, see his POV. Gonna step on, step off. He's gonna try to triple out here, gets it very nice and clean, which will give him a very good run through the whoops because of that.
Yeah, I will say, you know, the third, or this kind of third person camera doesn't really give you that kind of sense of speed that these guys have. And when you saw Linz's perspective, you really just saw how quick he is booking it.
They are
trying
moving
to get himself back into the podium spot. But right now, no one is catching Cam with that 14-second lead he has.
It would take a monumental implosion for Cam to throw this race one at this point. I think if you're Cam, if that kind of lead, you know he sees it, he's packing it in, and that should pretty much do it for him on race one. But the thing is, based off the points, doing 2 motos, all these guys between 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, 5th, they're still racing for a lot.
Yeah, and we've seen it more than just a few times that Cam into the second motos, he doesn't have the strongest second motos. His first moto's almost always solid, and we saw him in qualifying lap up to 5th place.
Aiden absolutely just munched through that section.
Gap. Yeah, it's moving.
Let's see the main rhythm line here, what they see. Now, I think that's going to be the main line. They're basically just tripling the whole way through it. But we did see, I think it was Victor or Cam just a minute ago we were on board. They got that quad in clean. You get that quad in clean, the rest of the quad double of that line just comes to you naturally.
Yeah, and that is such a fast line, but if you don't hit it, it's going to ruin your entire section. So it's going to kind of turn to be that more last resort type of line. To use it how you can, and if you absolutely need to. If not, just try to keep it as clean as possible right now. We are still looking at Victor, who's fallen once again behind Jake Jr. I mean, but what a ride for these two guys. And Victor going for the quad.
Look at that. Look how much time he pulls up.
Oh, right there. Now just sitting right up on his back wheel. Oh, this boy is moving. The German is feeling it right now.
Oh, Victor, very clean step on, step off. He's going to carry a lot of momentum from this bowl corner. Look at him blitz through the whoops here. They actually both got
the
incredibly
best
good
run.
runs.
They got good runs. It looked like Jake just slowed up just a bit there towards that final quarter of it. And Victor's going to try to set him up on the inside
Look at
of that
that.
sand section.
What a pass by
Very
Victor.
clean. Nice and easy.
Oh man,
for the German.
they're both flowing right now, Nabo. Oh! They both had some mistakes recovered.
Racing.
Absolutely. I'm curious. So this right here, this section, to your point earlier when Lenz tried to square up Cam, it's an opportunity for sure to make passes. But if you hold a tight inside line, it's very good. It's going to be hard for somebody to square you up.
Yeah, and really the outside line is not really viable for this. You're just going to lose about a second, even if you were to get that good rail through. Just how big of a space it is between the inside to the actual berm.
Only way I could see somebody doing that is if they just see that there's a big pile up on the inside. Because the process is if you go to that wide berm, you're going to carry so much speed into that single. You're going to single very far out into the flat, but that's air time that these guys, I can tell you right now, do not want.
Yeah, and looked like Jake Jr. had a problem. He just lost a lot of time. Oh, no, I take that back. It looked like Victor had lost a lot of time to Jake. A big mistake from him that we didn't quite see, and it's coming into lap traffic a little bit there. Valentin, very surprisingly, is not feeling this Supercross track.
The notorious head movement, Navo. We have all been here, whether people want to admit it or not, but turning the head left and right like you're on the bike in real life, you love to see it. Immersion.
I'm doing it now. I'm seeing these guys as they're angled over. My head it's turned a little bit sideways. It's just that force of habit.
And not to dampen the mood, Nava, but we gotta address the elephant in the room. Lenz, a favorite, down in 7th place, 41 seconds off the lead lap, and Cam is about to lap him. He's next up on the list.
And he is, but just to point out, we just quickly saw Victor have a big problem, and he has now lost out a podium spot to Aiden.
Oh, things are heating up, Nava. Look at this.
Oh, it is getting very close now between Dorian and Lenz.
Oh, no, he's gonna.
Oh! Dorian messes up the rhythm section.
And jumps onto the back.
Oh.
Man.
Yeah, Victor's race is getting worse as it goes on. As he's gone from a battle for second all the way down to 7th now. It has all changed hands. Lenz moves up into 4th. Reaper Dock in 5th. Dorian Merritt in 6th.
Lenz goes from being next on the lapper list to now up to 4th.
And that's Supercross. That's how quick these can change. Unless you're Cam, who is 36 seconds ahead of the field.
I mean, we all knew it was possible. We all kind of had a feeling it might happen, but Cam is leaving no doubt. And he's coming out Moto 1 and showing he is the best in class here.
And he absolutely is, and that really gets me looking forward to the upcoming Supercross season.
Oh, so many heavy hitters, Navo. So many heavy hitters.
So many. And this is already a pretty heavy-hitting list, minus a few, but Cam right now is on a whole different level, even though, you know, he's limited his practice time a bit because he did he ended up hurting his knee really bad. You saw him when he was walking out on the crutches.
That also puts in perspective a little bit more. Dealing with that kind of injury and having to focus for 40 minutes, again, referencing the two motos, that's crazy. But look at this, the battle heating up yet again.
Yeah, letting Cam go by respectively as they're getting lapped, but Dorian, Merritt, and Victor are not letting each other go by and fight it. It's a beast of a race right now between these two. But I do want to kind of see. It looks like Aiden and Jake Jr. are right up
the inside.
on
Victor, look at the tight line, Navo. He cannot triple though.
Yeah, it is absolutely insane, this type of race, and insane I wonder what the lap time is for Cam. If he is putting in those qualifying times.
Maybe we'll see at the end, but I'm going to go out and say that Cam has probably ran a 45. I honestly can see a world where he maybe has shaved 2 seconds off that lap.
I don't know. With him not really hitting the big lines, I think it is going to be very close to to his qualifying time of that 47. But I don't know.
The only thing I can think of is maybe
45.
Early on, maybe, but yeah, I mean, right now he's playing it safe going through the lappers, but I don't know. There's I normally try to have one just crazy bold prediction every time we do this, so that'll be my crazy one right now. I think Cam is maybe in the high 45s, maybe low 46s for his lap time, but maybe we'll get our answer at the end.
Absolutely, but you know, he's letting off a little bit more, having to go through the lap traffic, and is only just slowly gaining on that time of his teammate Aiden, who was holding down second. Linz has actually put himself back into the podium spots over Jake Jr.
Recovery mode for Linz. Absolute recovery mode for Linz.
And this is, you know, it is a 2-moto race, so your best finishes across 2 motos are going to decide it.
Oh!
Especially, Cam gets off very loose there in the sand.
It's kind of to my point earlier about the sand section. As this erode, you can see it with the track cam. It's kind of hard to see it a little bit, but the erode is definitely starting to come into play. And the sand section is one place where once the erode really starts to hit full effect, it can be brutal for your front end.
It absolutely is, and especially, you know, this TN gets a little front end heavy in, you know, some of these tighter corners, and it's definitely something to, you know, you have to be mindful of. And with the sand rollers going through, it just gives it more opportunity for that to just kind of just blow out. But I mean, look at Cam.
Linz has made his way up to second.
We've seen Linz plenty of times. He gets that late moto kind of second win where he puts on a whole different level and type of skill and just puts on some afterburners and goes. And we're seeing it here right now as he moves himself, was almost last place, and now he's back up to second. So what do you think here? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you think though, Cam, looking into Moto 2 with Cam being so dominant as we've seen in these qualifying rounds?
I was gonna say it earlier. I was gonna say it earlier when you brought up the point. Cam noticeably was letting off a little bit, and Cam, like you said, has had some weird Moto 2s throughout the year where he's kind of lost a little bit of sharpness or speed, whatever may have you, consistency. I almost wonder if he's kind of banking on that, and he's kind of, you know, just take it easy, let his mind start relaxing a little bit as he, you know, has dominated this Moto 1, so he can go and start gearing up for Moto 2.
Yeah, it's got to be already just, you know, keeping your mind right as we move on to our second moto.
And on the flip side, Navo, you got to think, what's going on in Lin's mind right now? I mean, he's had a pretty disastrous moto number 1. I mean, he fell as far back as 7th, I believe, but has worked hard and found his way in the second spot, which is quite literally as good as he could have hoped for going into this Moto 2. But, you know, the frustration has to be there. And basically, it's a winner take all at that point. If Cam finishes first and Linz finishes second, if Linz can somehow find a way to find some speed, find some consistency, and he can get past, you know, Cam and Moto 2, then it's right back on for Linz.
Yeah, that's what it's going to take. He will gain, you know, a bit more confidence, having been able to climb his way back up into second.
And I think
that
the big
all
thing
just got to be on the mind there of him.
Yeah, and I don't know how much he'll pay attention, because I'm sure there'll be people at home thinking, well, but he got beat by 41 seconds. Well, you also have to remember that 41 seconds is due largely to self-induced mistakes from Linz. I think he tried to make that early pass on Cam in that, you know, tight flat corner, and that's when things from there started to unravel. So I'm a bit kind of surprised by that, because Linz is normally very, very, again, analytical, methodical, and kind of picks his spots. But I think he maybe was just trying to jump that one early. Maybe it's nerves, maybe it's adrenaline. Could be a lot of things, but I think going into Moto 2, you cannot let that 41 seconds fool you. It's definitely going to be closer than that if Linz can stay off the ground.
And I mean, to your point about Linz, I mean, he is a very, very big veteran of the game, and you know, he does have that analytical and strategic side, and it might have been that kind of thought, is if I can get past Cam now and just hold him up to let other riders come in and cause problems for him. It very well could have worked out in his favor. It was just unfortunate at that time that the strategy didn't quite pay off, and he is going to have to now look to what goes to Moto number 2. And if he can pull out the win, get second, that would still give him the overall victory with that 2-1 finish.
Absolutely.
And he is definitely capable.
What in the world?
Just landed right on Jake Jr. as he was trying to lap him. What?
Somebody looked like somebody was setting up for that triple backflip. Like, what in the world? That was crazy.
That was a little bit of physics problems right there.
Just explosion.
This has got to be one of those moments that still got to respect the blue flags, guys, and get out of the way for the racers. Although almost everyone's been lapped except for Linz.
And I'm curious at how close that's coming up.
I almost wonder if Cam might be playing a mind game with Linz there just a bit.
I mean, just trying to run him down. Hey, I lapped the entire field, buddy, going into Moto number 2.
Yeah, or even just, you know, just stick right behind him.
Oh, it's right here.
Like
it's right here.
Right now.
It's right here. How hard does Cam push this? And you know what's something I also wonder? How hard does Linz defend this as a lapper? Normally, you absolutely would not do that, but circumstances are a little different here.
Yeah, I don't know. And honestly, if I were Linz, I would just let him go.
Oh!
Linz isn't.
He's not. That's what I figured. Linz does not want to be lapped. Look at this battle. You normally do not see a lapper and a leader battling like this, but circumstances have changed, and it looks like Cam is pulling free. Though Cam's pace is insane, Navo. I hate to say it, but Cam absolutely just straight up burned by Linz in that sand section, and he throws a Superman insult to injury.
Right at the end there, gets the lap.
You can see Linz down there.
Laps the whole field, but Cam will be the victor. Linz will grab second, Aiden in third, Jake Jr., Victor, Dorian, Merritt, Willie, Jams, and Valentin will round out the very first moto. And what a moto for Cam.
Oh, man.
A dominant
Linz,
moto.
whoa, Linz is coming over here. Hey, Linz is coming over here. How in the world are you going to lap me like that on the last lap? How are you going to do me like that?
Yeah, you know, at that point, hey, just let them lap you. Let you finish and get your break.
We're going to let these guys interview you, folks.
Yeah, we'll hear what they've got to say.
How do you feel? No words.
How was it? Are you emotional? What is it? Or like just normal day-to-day business?
I just don't know. I normally ride then, to be fair. I wasn't in practice earlier a bit tight, but then I was a little bit. But got my mechanic doing it for all, so
Ho chiesto come si è sentito, no? Come è stato, no? Sei riagitato, com'ero? È proprio come tutti i giorni, no? No, normale, come lo faccio sempre, doppio tutti. No, bravissimo. Poi hai detto che in cuffia aveva anche il meccanico, quindi gli dava tutte le informazioni necessarie. Ha fatto una garona, complimenti. Bravo, in Italian you say
So
bravo.
you are confident for the next race? You are very calm?
yeah, I'm very confident for the next race. I like the track, to be fair. The track's really good.
You think you can do better than now?
It'll be hard, but I'll see if I can.
Thank you.
Rider. Cos'è che gli avevi chiesto?
Io gli ho chiesto se era tranquillo e se pensa di poter fare
Sì.
ancora meglio nella prossima gara. Ha detto mi sembra difficile.
Ha chiesto se può ancora fare meglio nella prossima gara, visto che li ha doppiati tutti. Mi
Oh, did you hear that word?
I did.
Cam's confident, and he's
very
loving the track.
Very confident.
It is. He is fit. This has got to be his favorite Supercross track right now. I mean, when you lap the entire field, I mean, it would be my favorite track too.
Let's see what Linz has to say here.
Ended up, you know, like being up there at the beginning, then you crash a bunch of time, and then You know, I worked out all the way up to second. How you feel?
Feel good. I think that I let the pressure get to me a little bit at the start. The first half of the race was not very good, as you saw. All the way back down to 7th, had a very good battle with Dorian for a few laps. And then I just tried to stay consistent, capitalised on people's mistakes and managed to get up to 2nd. And then this man's in another league, but he made me have to do 1 less lap, so that was nice. So stopped me having any more mistakes, and it was a good race, and I'm excited for Moto number 2.
Ho chiesto come si è sentito, visto che quando è partito era davanti, era in seconda posizione e poi dopo è caduto un paio di volte, quindi è dovuto recuperare. Ha detto sì, effettivamente questo è esattamente quello che è successo.
But yeah, that is the word from Linz himself, and he had a really good run coming back to get himself 2nd place there, Sword.
I mean, again, damage control. Damage control. These guys at this point, you know when you literally cannot win a race. And Linz, I think I've seen Linz races in the past from his POV. He is one who can accept that sooner than others. Sometimes I think like he'll just like I'm just going to settle in, take what I can get. The difference with that one is
1 second there, Sword.
Yep, sure.
But we dealt with it, and it was fine, it was good, and it was fun, and I'm really happy. Yeah.
Sì, allora abbiamo chiesto sempre come si sente, come pensa di fare la prossima gara, e dice adesso che ho i nervi fuori dalla situazione si sente molto più tranquillo e essendo secondo adesso ha anche la possibilità eventualmente di poter vincere se Cam magari va un pochino più piano, nel senso perché nel mondo del motocross funziona che con una seconda gara ci sono ancora le opportunità. Se dovesse essere che Linz vince la seconda gara e Cam arriva secondo, vince Linz. Quindi ancora tutto da decidere, bravo.
Thank you.
Il terzo è Aiden.
Aiden.
Hey Aiden, good job. How are you feeling?
I feel good. It was very hard at the start. I made a lot of mistakes, but managed to get there in the end. But yeah, other than that, I was very nervous at the start. It was very hard to get comfortable.
Yeah, let's see what we got Aiden here for.
Managed to get P3 in the end, so I'm happy with that.
Gli abbiamo chiesto come si sente, come pensa di aver fatto e dice che era nervoso pure lui. Questi ragazzi è la prima volta nella loro vita che fanno una cosa del genere, quindi logicamente un po' i nervi si sentono. Ha fatto un po' di errori, poi dopo ha recuperato ed è molto contento che è riuscito ad arrivare terzo.
It was a difficult track for you?
Yeah, I struggled at the start. Obviously, we've not had a lot of track time, but I feel like Moto 2 will be a lot better, be a lot more comfortable now, so I think it'll be a better race, Moto 2.
Gli ha chiesto se era difficile, se la gara è stata difficile, lui ha risposto che non hanno avuto molto tempo per imparare la pista, quindi all'inizio era un po', non si sentiva molto bene, però col susseguirsi dei giri si sente molto meglio e pensa di andare ancora più forte nella seconda manche.
Quindi sarà una bella sfida tra lui e Linz da seguire, perché secondo me Cam sarà più
Thank you very much.
agevolato.
You're free to go.
Amazing, thank you.
Oh, bro.
I hope everybody's having some fun. Spero che qualcuno che vi state divertendo un po' con il primo e-sport in EICMA, primo anno.
So there it is, the top 3 there, Sword. You know, Cam putting on an absolute dominant display out here. Linz clawing his way back up to 2nd, and Aiden, Cam's teammate, rounding out the top 3. What are you looking for here for Moto number 2?
I think as we see some very look at this little turn up and look back. I'd love to see that as a aspiring free rider, but you know, Aiden said one thing that I could really I don't know, relate with. You have to remember, these guys have not really had that much track time. When races happen for Supercross and Motocross, these guys get a while to, as they say, grind the track, learn it, and they only get better with time. And that was their first, like, legit full 20 minutes, you know, of high-level competitive racing on that. And, you know, he said, I think Moto 2 will be a lot better, and that's mainly just from that confidence perspective of, I've seen the track, we've been on it for 20 straight minutes, I've seen how people are going to race it, and everyone feels more confident now. Also the nerves going, again, I'm not sure what people could or couldn't hear, but Lynn said, you know, he felt some nerves, and now that they've experienced this for the first time, the nerves should be a little bit less. So I think for me, it's going to be seeing everyone being a little more settled, a little less nervous, and potentially being able to pick spots and lines maybe a little bit better than they did the first one.
Absolutely, and just to your point there, the more track time these guys get, it's only going to be the more faster that they're going to become, and confidence is such a big thing about this. And as they grow and get more of a feel of a track, it is only going to get them better. But Cam is already as confident as he can be, both for the race and on track.
I think Cam at this point, he just has to know, I have to beat Lens. That's it. I have to beat Lens. And I don't see a world where he is worried about that going into the second moto. It all is going to come down to the start. To be honest, I see a lot of the first moto happening in the second moto. I think you might see Cam and Lens both out front early. They both are very, very good starters, usually, so to say. So we could potentially see a wire-to-wire battle between Cam and Lens, Navo.
And I definitely think, that's certainly what I'm looking to see here. But I'm very also interested to know if someone else can throw themselves into the mix. We didn't get to see a lot of Valentin out there who was not feeling the Supercross track at all, which is very uncharacteristic from him after the qualifying. But I mean, Dorian Merritt has got pace. We saw Victor has got some good pace on there as well.
I was going to say, you took the words out of my mouth right there. Victor looked very strong at points, but I think the consistency side of it, whether it has, whether it was self-induced or not self-induced, he definitely has a pace that is deceptive maybe to some of these other guys. So it's definitely somebody to look out for. Because, again, Navo, all it took, right? All it took was one early crash from Lens, and Cam was gone. So I propose the question, what if something catastrophic happens and Lens and Cam get buried off the start, crashes, what have you, and someone else gets out front? Do we see those two run it down? Do we see them two getting caught up in the battle, and then they become their own worst enemies by not allowing themselves to get up to the front? It's a very interesting way to look at it, because, like you said, with MX bikes, anything could happen, and that could very well happen.
Yeah, and I kind of look at Moto 2 of Trentino, and it was kind of that whole scenario there that the front running guys that we see here didn't get the best starts, and it was Jake Jr. who actually was leading for a good long point of that moto until Cam and Lens finally caught up to him. But already then it was towards the end of the moto itself, and it just caused some absolute pandemonium and chaos with the front spots constantly swapping.
They're getting on the gate. Look at this, all down the inside.
Yeah, it is all just about set up with the lone rider on the far outside gate. And we are about to be underway here for our Moto number 2 for the EICMA Esports MX Championship. And
revs are up. Look who's out on the far outside. Who is that? The gate's down.
Ooh. That looked like it was Valentin on the far outside. We are underway in Milan, but Cam will once again get that hole shot with Lynn sitting up right there.
Oh, Cam goes down!
Oh, and it's a huge pileup after the first rhythm section. Lynn is going to start off with a huge lead. Jams is going to be up in the second, and Valentin in third.
And Cam is dead last, Navo. Just like we said, Cam, the only thing he had to worry about, and it has come to fruition. Cam has got to get on his horse. He cannot let Lens, I'm telling you, will be absolutely trying to run the fastest laps he's ran all day right now, because he sees Cam down in the back. Unbelievable. What a heartbreaker for Cam.
He might not, though. I'm pretty sure these computers, they were not set up with max HUD, because it does, cause some games to crash.
That's a very good point.
So Lens might not have any idea whatsoever what happened to Cam. Cam sitting down into, I believe that is 6th place now.
Oh, Cam does that
and he
again!
gets caught up with a tough block.
Oh no!
Oh, he's in a tough block.
Is he stuck? Oh my God!
Oh, he might be stuck.
Oh no!
Oh no!
He
he's
has
back
to
up. He is
reset.
back up.
Oh my goodness!
Oh,
Cam
that
has
is
got
setting
his
him
work
up
cut out for
bad.
him.
Oh,
Unbelievable.
That is the unfortunate thing right there. That is not what you want to see, but what a start here for the FXR G Fuel rider, that of Linz out of the UK. And up there, and 2 guys right here that we didn't see, one of them being Jams. In 2nd place right now, battling with his teammate Aiden and Willie the Privateer.
Unbelievable, Navo. You called it with the second, Cam with the second moto woes. And here's the thing, if Cam, I know this is unfortunate, I know his heart is probably just pounding. He has 18 minutes to run down Linz, 21 seconds.
But if anyone can do it,
it's Cam.
It's Cam.
100%, but he has got to keep his head on a swivel. He has got to get his mind right. He has to take a deep breath. And it looks to appear that he's already doing that because he's already found his way past Victor and Dorian.
And I would have thought that Dorian and Victor would have been able to hold him up a little bit more. Dorian, who did get 2nd overall in the qualifying rounds, just not able to keep up. I mean, he had the woes of the start, but Cam is flowing on this track like none of these other riders are currently.
You know, man, it's crazy. Cam, you know, he went from the biggest high of, he got the whole shot, again, back-to-back motos, he gets the whole shot, and then I didn't quite see what really happened. It looked like he clipped on the last jump when he was trying to triple out, and he just went over the bars. Man, look at this, Navo. He is on charge.
Yeah, right there. Oh,
this inside line, Cam.
Oh, Jake Jr. and Doc.
He just blows by him on the inside. Cam has got this inside line down on the sand to a science. And look at this. He's opted to start going for that double single so he can keep that tight line, because the problem is if he wants to get that triple, he cannot hold that tight line coming to the exit of the sand.
Yeah, and that's even then, he might opt for the double single. It's still gaining him about half a second to a second just by holding that inside line as tight as he does. But Cam is right now, he's focused up. He's focused up very quick. We are looking at Willie trying to get by Aiden.
Look at the line
Willie
choice here.
Ooh.
Look at this, the high side. He's going to cut down on the inside. What a move from Willie. What a pass.
Solid move from him. Went full outside in the sand.
Oh, he's going to jump on top.
Oh. That was
scary.
a risky move, but it works out, and that's what you've got to do sometimes. Willie, another guy who has a lot of pace with the right moments. And now this I wonder a little bit more, as Cam is going to come up to Willie and his teammate Aiden. Is Aiden going to let him go?
Man, you know, that's a tough scenario to be in, not only as a teammate but as a friend. I know that you guys are friends, and oh my goodness, the commentator's curse. Oh my God.
It's not. He's gonna let him go by anyways, as he has a big off in the whoop section.
Well, now he doesn't have that horrible decision to make, so maybe that's for the best.
It might be, but that had sent him back down just a bit more, which is a shame, because that was a great start for him.
It was.
Now looking back a little bit more, as Doc is
oh man,
having a big off there. Dorian Merritt trying to get by Reaper Doc. But yeah, what a showing for him, though.
He's been competitive. Nabo, he has been very competitive. In Moto 1, he put up with Linz for almost, I'd say, half a lap, which, I mean, and we're talking about in like crunch time. So that was very good to see from Reaper Doc.
Yeah, and, you know, just kind of looking back a little bit more, Aiden's still holding down second place now. Willie in third. And Cam is just slowly catching back up to him now. 3 seconds, the gap between Willie and Cam. So it's starting to get a little close here as we see Dorian Merritt and Victor battling a little bit more. Valentin in there as well. That's Dorian Merritt's teammate of LMC Kubek Racing. And that was a very different kind of line choice there from Dorian.
Very different. But there again, like we said, sometimes when this track starts breaking down, you can see a live look here. Look at the claw cam.
He's got the crab claw hold. That's not my type of style, but whatever works for anyone else.
I played like this for almost, I would say, a full 2 years until I finally switched to using basically my both pointers and both middle fingers on L2, R2, L1, R1. But I can say for some of these guys, it might look crazy, but it's all about comfort, and it might look like the most uncomfortable thing you've ever seen, but for them, it's comfy, it's safe, it's what they know.
And you know, in these sim racing type of games, it's those little milliseconds of even just moving to just hit a shift a little bit quicker is really all it needs to be sometimes, as Cam is gonna just get right by Aiden. That was the team orders right there.
That 100%.
Aiden did not even try to defend the inside and just let him go. And with 12.5 minutes left, Cam has 18.3 seconds to make up on Linz, and he will go nearly perfect throughout this entire EICMA MX championship if he can catch Linz.
This is going to be hard.
That time.
This is going to be hard, Navo, and I'm telling you, I have been paying attention to it because we can't see lap times and things like that, but I can tell you straight up right now, Cam is running faster laps than Linz. 100%, not with a shadow of a doubt, he is. The question is, I think he's been gaining close to about a second and a half every lap and a half. It's going to be close. We could come down to a photo finish if both of these guys can stay up. Linz has to just run his race. He cannot make mistakes because Cam is absolutely on an otherworldly pace right now. And if Cam pulls this off, Navo, this would be one of the single greatest things I think this game has ever seen. Considering the circumstances...
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. So in that one lap where he got by Aiden, he gained 1 second. And these guys are lapping about, you know, the 47-second laps to 50 seconds, depending on, you know, how you were. And with 11 minutes left, you're thinking there's about 13, 14 more laps to go. And if he can lap a second quicker, it's going to be very close. Yeah, it's
almost a second
close.
lap. Basic, I mean, basic math. I was gonna say basic math. I don't know that he's got enough time, even if he is gaining a second a lap. It's gonna be, it's gonna be tight, Navo. Oh man, I'm already kind of puckering up for that.
Yeah, it is gonna have to be very close between these two, and I think he might be able to catch it, but he's gonna need a bobble or, you know,
even a lapper maybe
from Linz. Yeah, and they are slowly starting to get into him now. Linz, as we are on board with him right here, he has lapped Valentin and Jam.
As he perfectly downsides every single rhythm and jump of that section, like that's about textbook as it gets, folks.
I mean, he was also one of he was the EU or the NA, I'm sorry, 2250 Supercross champion.
Even in this cam, not to cut you off, but just even in this cam real fast, you can see Linz looked so methodical, so smooth. It looks like Cam is running the ragged edge. Even just from this POV, you can tell there's a bit of a difference.
Yeah, that little bit of kind of just going, I have got to move.
The run through the whoops, though. That's crazy.
As perfect as you can
Look at this low line.
All we need is the skills wheelie through the whoops. It would be perfect.
Look at this. Oh, man. Oh, Linz, look, going wide there. Victor being a very good lapper. Folks at home watching, that is 101. And look, Linz immediately responds with the wave. You love to see that kind of camaraderie.
So I just want to point this out here because we do not see that outside line being taken at all. And Victor did it as a lapper, but as Victor
he pulled up on him
into the first corner, he was right there.
It makes you wonder, and that's the thing, like, it does look so absurdly far out there, but I would love to see, I would love to see somebody, like, fully commit to it and try to use it. The only thing I can think of is you would carry so much speed into that single, you would have to scrub so hard to not go flying in the air back across the start straight.
Yeah, it's one of those interesting things there, and you got to be so hot on the brakes as you come into turn 1.
Just a little under 8.5 minutes left to go, Navo. Cam has now shaved it down to 10 seconds. Did Lenz have a mistake? A bobble, because right when he crossed timing and scoring, it went down 4 more seconds.
Yeah, it went from a 14 to a 10, and it is going to come down to the wire here by about my count. There is about 10 laps left as he drops it down to 9.
Another second.
Seconds.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, that is how close it is gonna be. It is gonna be down to the wire. And now I wonder here if Lenz is just gonna send it. If Cam gets up to him, it is gonna be some very big bar banging events between these two.
And you made the point earlier, we have no idea if they have timing and scoring. My money tells me they don't. And I can tell you now, once Lenz, if he feels Cam coming, if he can hear him, if he looks back, I know Lenz is very, very good with the whole quick look back. Does that make you tense up? Is that like the, oh no? Because again, he gets lapped on the last lap of Moto 1. And then, oh, Cam saves it. He cannot afford to go down. Now Cam has reeled him in 9 seconds. Oh man, you know the heart's going to start beating. He's going to get nervous. And this is going to come down to a battle of wits and will.
I mean, I'm getting nervous here watching it.
I am too. My hands are sweating, and I'm literally just sitting here watching.
Yeah, it looked, even with that bobble, it almost sent him back to that 10-second mark. Yeah, 9.9 seconds now Cam is behind, so he's almost lost a full second. And he is losing time to try and catch him. As there went Lenz by through the whoops. Cam is just so smooth in that section, though. So smooth. And just this line right here is where he is really gaining this time. That inside section through the sand, he is running it so tight next to those hay bales. It would take one mistake for him to lose it, but he just keeps it alive and makes it look so clean. This onboard look, you really get to see this pace that Cam has as he is just really trying to reel in Lenz, who we are looking at now. It's a 9.1 second gap between the two countrymen, but two big rivals. That of Lenz and Cam. It's that's a huge bobble from Lenz. Oh, he manages to keep it up on 2 wheels, losing that front end, and goes full corkscrew, but lands back on it. Oh, and that is going to be a lot of time lost for him. We're going to have to see where Cam is going to be right after that. There he is, right in the back of the screen. Didn't lose as much time as I thought he would. I wonder if Cam had a bobble as well. But it is only 7.7 seconds, and Lenz is completely focused right now. He is just has to keep it clean for another 5 minutes. And he will grab himself victory and would grab himself an overall victory as well.
And you know, on the biggest stage, Navo, like, you got to think after that first moto, Lenz has just got to be like, this cannot happen on this stage. This is history-breaking stages for the game, the community, and he's got a reputation to uphold. And right now, his will and determination in moto number 2 has been on full effect as Cam brings it down to 6 seconds with exactly 4 minutes to go, Navo.
Yeah, that big bobble from Linz, it didn't give him as much time as I thought it would, but ooh, it's gonna be very close though. 5.6 seconds now the gap.
Navo, I'm calling it. We're gonna get a last lap battle. I feel it in my bones. Yeah, it's hard to not see that. Now, here is Cam coming up to, I believe this is Victor. Hopefully Victor lets him get by pretty easily.
Yeah,
Cam goes to the outside. Yeah, he's got it.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very close. 5.2 seconds the gap now.
It's almost a full half second that lap.
Oh, it is. It is something very close.
I would pay...
And I don't know how to call it.
No, I would pay so much money to have heart rate monitors on Cam and Linz right now.
Got a heart
5
rate monitor on me.
seconds. 5 seconds is the gap, Navo. We come down to the 2 minute and 50-second mark. Cam, I have not seen anybody go through the sand that fast all day. That was insane.
Yeah, it absolutely was, and it's
oh, lapper!
Oh,
that messes that just the smallest lapse in concentration. He recovers nicely though. 4.8 seconds is the gap.
Yeah, he's slowly reeling them in, but just by my count, I'd say there's only about 4 laps left. 4 to 5 laps. That's how close it is going to be between these two. And I still don't know. I do not know where to call it.
I think for the sake of storylines, Navo, I think everyone in the world is just wanting to see Cam catch Linz so we can see a last lap battle. For everything, all the
I was kind of
marbles.
hoping Doc holds him up just a little bit. Give it to Linz. The man worked so hard. No, we want the battle. We all want the battle.
I mean, it's one of those things that no matter who
battle.
people are a fan of, I think just for the sheer insaneness of the sport, you can see Cam in the back. Linz is going to see Cam when he goes through here. I 100% guarantee Linz looked over.
No, and here's the thing, I wouldn't have.
No, I would not either.
You have just got to keep your face forward and focus on
2.6
your
seconds.
race. And we're coming down to the last minute and a half.
Cam has found the line in the sand section. I honestly think this is where he's making up the time on everyone. The confidence he has through that sand section is just something that's unlike anything I've seen.
It's exactly where he's getting.
He's right there, Navo!
It's 2.5 seconds.
Oh,
but that's absolutely where he's gaining that time. No one is
1 second!
Oh, and it is coming down to the wire, Sword. The absolute wire. In the last minute of our final moto.
Oh my goodness, Navo, and there's lappers coming up. Look at the run. Cam gets through the whoops. It's going to come down to the sand section again.
Yeah, there will still, I believe there would be 1 or 2 more laps left. But, you know, Cam, he's slowly losing a few tenths now. I think Linz knows he's there, and he's going to pick up that pace a little bit more.
I was curious if Cam was going to go for the quad, but he's playing it safe, which I think is the smart thing there.
Yeah, he has got to play it safe. It's now less than a second.
0.8 seconds. And oh!
Oh!
Was that Linz going down?
That was Linz down.
Oh my goodness, no!
Linz loses it on turn 1.
Oh my goodness!
All on Cam and you could see it in his. I could see it in his eyes. Oh, the sadness for Linz. But it looks like he's not quite done. He's right up. Oh no, I lied. Cam's already gone. Cam's already got a
He's still in view. He's still in view, and the same thing could happen. So now again, the very same thing that just happened to Linz could happen. Happened to Linz could happen to Cam. I'm having trouble speaking. I cannot believe what just happened.
Yeah, it is. That is not what you want, and we're on the final lap.
It's
Cam
4
already
seconds.
with a 4-second gap. And oh, that is
Your
absolute
heart
heartbreak for Lynn.
has to break for Linz, but you absolutely cannot take anything away from Cam. That is one of the most, if not the most incredible comeback I have ever seen in this game. Like, oh my goodness, the stakes that are on the line.
I'd put that right up with, I believe that was Skills dead
Atlanta.
last to first at Atlanta.
In Atlanta, exactly.
Last year. But right now it is all Cam, who went nearly perfect. Cam of MXB Mods FXR is your absolute champion for the EICMA MX Championship. Absolute heartbreak for
Unbelievable.
Linz, leading the entire moto.
Oh, he takes a
and
deep
loses
breath.
it on the last lap. That was
my goodness.
absolute clinic from Cam on how to come back after mistakes and still win.
The composure, Navo, the composure, calm, cool, and collective, and being able to run that pace for 18 minutes? That's insane. Man. God, no matter which side you look at it, like, oh man, Linz responds. He had it, Navo. He had it. He had one lap to go, and we couldn't see what happened, but man.
Yeah, it was just so close for him, and that is the ultimate heartbreak right there from him. And oh man, and you know, even though yes, he would be quite happy with a 2-2 finish and getting second overall, that is a 2-2 that feels like a loss, and it's got to be absolutely gutted.
But again, all that said, what an event. What a day for MX Bikes. And I can't think of two better people in the situation and circumstances given that could represent the highest level of this game. Cam and Lance put on a show, and shout out to everybody else that competed. Reaper, Victor, everyone that's there. They all put on and represented the game and the community very, very well.
Yeah, and we give a shout out to all the guys here for Cam Lins, Dorian Merritt, Victor, Willie, Reproduct, Jake Jr., Jams, Aiden, and Valentin. 10 of the best who went through 4 rounds of very tough qualifying to make it here. But it is all Cam. And we'll see what he's got to say here.
I got stuck inside a tough block, so lost about 20 seconds there. But I had Dylan in call again, just telling me the times and what came down. And then when I was behind Lindsay, folded the front. But yeah, that was pretty hectic at the start of the race, to be fair.
Yes, because you fell 2 times, but you get up and won. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Gli abbiamo chiesto come si sente, ha detto che è stata una gara molto agitata perché è caduto all'inizio, poi è caduto di
While they
nuovo.
say what Cam said to the Italian audience, you have to remember too what Cam just said. He got stuck in a tough block, Navo.
He got absolutely locked up in there.
You're gonna go to Qatar for sure. Are you happy about that?
Yeah, I'm very happy about that. I'll take my assistant there, Harvey, with me.
Of course, you are on crutches, so you're gonna have to have your assistant. Ho chiesto se è contento perché col primo premio andrà in Qatar a vedere la gara
Cam
di
just said his sister's
MotoGP
there.
come VIP e gli abbiamo chiesto come si sente. Lui fa sì, l'importante è che posso portare il mio assistente perché sono in stampelle.
Who is your favorite racer in MotoGP?
I think he said his assistant.
Your favorite pilot?
Oh, his assistant.
Because he's on crutches.
Yeah.
Just never there.
Okay.
Allora, gli abbiamo chiesto qual è il suo pilota preferito per la MXGP, il campionato del mondo di motocross, e dice sul mio cuore Erlings, però adesso che ha vinto Prado gli piace anche tanto Prado.
Ok, perfetto.
Non ti senti? Ok, facciamo il secondo?
Yes. Va bene.
Secondo. Cosa?
Allora ragazzi, adesso parleremo con il buon Linz che purtroppo si dice
Yeah, that is his favorite rider. It's Hurling and Prado.
That's interesting. It's interesting.
A little bit annoyed at myself.
Very, very interesting. I know, and of course, I'm sure most people know this now. Prado taking his crack at American Supercross.
I was looking at the pit board every lap.
And let's hear what
it was taking
Linz
about
has to
a second
say.
a minute, so I was trying to do the maths in my head, but then I had a couple of mistakes and I lost a lot of time there. I'm happy with how I played. The event has been amazing. Like, everybody's been so loud the entire time, so it's really cool to see. And I just want to give a massive thank you to all of the organisers involved, everybody that made this possible. A year ago, I was working a desk job, and now I get to make YouTube videos on this game. And we've got a very supportive community, so thank you everyone that came out to watch.
Congratulations. Beautiful words. Ok, praticamente ha detto che è contento, ma fino a un certo punto, perché comunque è un po' dispiaciuto di se stesso, degli errori che ha fatto, e ha detto che durante la gara vedeva minuto dopo minuto che lui si avvicinava, che si stava avvicinando, e quindi ha detto: ho iniziato a fare dei calcoli nella mia testa e ho capito che forse mi poteva riprendere, e l'ha ripreso. E poi ha ringraziato tutti quanti, l'organizzazione, perché ha detto un anno fa.
And what a way to finish it. A disappointing, but also amazing way to finish it.
Yeah, disappointing if you're a Lens fan, if you're a Cam fan, you are just through the roof right now. But I think at the end of the day, no matter who you like or dislike, one thing is for certain: as the MX Bikes world and community, we all just won.
Giocando ai videogiochi.
And absolutely, that was.
Anche alle Olimpiadi, cosa che
It was an amazing time. It was definitely an amazing event. And I swear, we going next year? We just going next year?
I am most certainly down to go, Navo.
So, third again.
And it looks like Aiden is going to get his turn here. We'll see what he has to
Aiden
say.
è arrivato
Third on the
terzo di
podium.
nuovo, quindi gli sto chiedendo come si sente.
I felt good. That motor was a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. I wanted to get a podium overall, so I'm happy with that. This is actually my best finish. Didn't even get third in the qualifiers at all, so I'm happy to get it when it actually matters. But yeah, it was a good race. I really enjoyed that. I've had a lot of fun today as well. Definitely been something different than what I'm used to, but definitely been fun.
Ha detto che è contentissimo di essere arrivato a podio, ha fatto terzo nella prima manche, ha fatto terzo nella seconda manche, è venuto qua per questo, quindi ha centrato il risultato. È anche contentissimo perché è il risultato migliore che ha fatto durante tutto questo campionato EICMA Esport. Congratulazioni, congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks.
Stay everyone around so we can do more interviews.
Che poi tra l'altro, ragazzi, io stavo anche guardando i premi. Praticamente i primi 3 classificati se ne volano belli in Qatar a vedere la gara di MotoGP.
Yeah, you know, Aiden brought up a really good point there. That was his best finish in the course of the entire thing.
Which, and you know, for the sake of progress is progress, what a better note to go out on to officially close out the 2023 racing season in its entirety. And now everyone sets their sights to the preseason Supercross starting up in a couple weeks. And then, of course, the big tamale, A1 kicking off the 2024 Supercross season.
Yeah, and I mean, you know me, Sword. I love my Supercross.
I think we all do.
Just about everyone loves Supercross.
And I think it's got a different feel, you know?
Oh, absolutely. And I think it was fitting that this final race was also the Supercross track to end it out like that.
Come hai detto tu, è veramente come subire un gol alla fine.
Which again, I was very unsure. Like once we saw qualifying, I didn't really know how it would race, but I think it really showed and showcased well some of the different technical aspects of the game. I mean that main rhythm line, you saw what was possible with the big 4-4-2, but then you saw how when it comes down to the crunch time, people will abandon, going big to send it for a more technical, precise line of the 3-3-2. Yeah, the sand section, it was great.
Yeah, and that's what it all comes down to for Supercross is line choice and keeping it consistent.
No, perché tu sei quello un po' più
we saw it with Cam. We saw it with Cam all day for these past 2 races and just how dominant he is, and that is just really increasing my own hype of moving into the Supercross series.
It is going to be here before you know it. I'm so excited.
I am also excited. Although, do not get me wrong, I'm also excited for a slight break.
Very true.
Going non-stop for this past year.
Much deserved.
And I mean, this is something so very different to have happen here. This whole LAN party in Italy is it's a very interesting and big step for the game in a whole different kind of way, and I think it worked out very well for this, and it's only going to be bigger next year.
And it makes you just wonder, how do you top it? You know, like, how is there is talks of people, you know, who have been legends and big names of the community not racing in 2024. What names are going to step up to take those places? You know, who capitalizes on that? And there's a lot of storylines heading into next year.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting, but I mean, it is just like, you know, real racing is, you know, the ones that you know and love, who have always been the fast ones. They can't do that forever, and so new people have got to come in and take their place. I mean, you look at the saying like Jeremy McGrath gave it up to Ricky Carmichael, who then gave it up to James Stewart and Chad Reed, then Ryan Dungey, and then it just keeps going, and now you've got the Lawrence brothers.
There's always somebody. There's always somebody to step in.
And it looks like those two are gonna be dominant for a very long time.
It does appear that way. Well, Navo, as we come to the closing moments here, you know, what's your big takeaway from today?
I mean, it was something very different in a good way. Something very different in a good way, and it's like we've said more than a few times, this is a very big step of something very different for this type of game and everything that you don't quite see a lot. But it was a lot of fun. Got to see some fantastic racing and a very big heartbreaking moment.
Yeah, it's still hard to process. It's crazy. I cannot believe that happened.
And I'm still looking forward to see you know, our next set of races where we're back in the booth together.
Oh, I'm so excited, Nava. I honestly think that we are in for quite a fun time, you and I.
It's gonna be a good 2024.
Most certainly. Well, it looks like these guys might be signing off. I think they're doing the same thing we're doing.
Yeah, the late talk. Was not quite sure when we're closing that or not.
Very true. Very true.
Just waiting on the word. We do good small talk, though.
I mean, to be on the fly.
You're a good small talker.
To be honest, this whole entire thing was by the seat of our pants, and I think it worked out very well.
Yeah, I also forgot to throw this out. The top three of this, they're going to go participate in a VIP race tomorrow with some bigger names out there, and that'll be
prizes are crazy.
That'll be cool for that. Yeah, it's some crazy prizes. I would love just to go to any one of those things. Yeah, and this will all be uploaded. So any of you guys who missed the action today, poor Cam just hopped.
Yeah, somebody get the man, get the man some help.
His crutches.
See Stone Rider and Nico walk by in the background there. Shout out to them.
Allora, la prima gara è stata molto...
Senso unico.
Sì,
ma questa seconda...
No, la seconda veramente...
No, but this was fun, though, Sword.
It really was. I mean, again, can we just give Navo a shout out, guys? I mean, this man is on the West Coast in the U.S. You realize that this started at 6 a.m. for him, and I'm all the way across the country in the U.S. On the Eastern time, so it started for 9 a.m. for me, so I didn't have it as bad as Navo.
I've been up all night with a newborn baby, too.
Congrats again, man. Again, congrats, man.
Night.
I'm so happy for you and the missus.
It's been a very long night. I'm very tired. I'm very much going to go back to bed and take a nap for a little bit.
You would deserve it, brother.
Sì, assolutamente. Cioè,
I thought we were
prima gara
trying to get some
ha
more
doppiato 9 persone.
Ma comunque quando
interviews
lo
with the
guardavi
races.
Sì.
Is what
rispetto
I
agli altri
thought
era
I heard.
tranquillissimo.
going on.
Poi ripeto,
But-
era steso perché aveva la gamba e non
Sì.
perché era nel turbocillo.
Chissà però se con gli altri giochi
I'm not sure.
Sono
My
così.
Italian is not that
Boh,
good.
sarebbe-
Secondo me quando sei un pro su un
sarebbe
gioco
carino.
cresci con una mentalità tale che quando ti approcci
Sì.
agli altri hai quelle
Riesci
skills
a-
nella
I don't know.
testa.
What are you looking forward
sarebbe
to
stato carino chiedergli magari
for
se
next year
ci
there,
gioca
Sword?
altri giochi. Dai, di fatto
You know,
hanno
I think the
finito
biggest thing
dopo
is, of course, we've
mezz'ora-
mentioned it a few times. I want to know,
mezz'ora
does the
di
gap
focus
at the top
completo.
lessen?
È stato
I think that's my
veramente
biggest
bello.
thing going into
Adesso, allora,
A1.
in-
I'm curious to see how
abbiamo
serious the guys take the
cerimonia,
preseason
podium
Supercross.
ceremony.
So there's a preseason Supercross series taking place every week in December, leading up to A1.
Prova, prova.
I'm curious to see who really
siete
takes advantage of that
divertiti,
and
siamo
uses it to
divertiti,
get better,
ci siamo divertiti.
and
Ma voi
seeing
siete-
if there's that
vi siete
gap at the
sfidati?
top between skills
No,
and some of
anche
the other
perché
guys
probabilmente non riusciremo
start
neanche a finire
to
mezzo
come down a
giro,
little bit.
quindi
Dai, non ti buttare giù così.
ci proviamo. se
Because
si può.
a lot
Dai,
of people
dopo
coming
ci
into this year
sfidiamo
expected
noi.
Lens
Intanto
to be very
facciamo
dominant
quelli
like he
seri,
was
perché hanno
in
vinto
2022.
possiamo andare
cose,
con i
And
cose
people found out
grandi,
real
cose
quick
belle, cose
that was not going to
importanti.
be the case.
10 ragazzi
No,
arrivati
it's
dall'Europa e
absolutely-
dagli Stati Uniti qui
absolutely
quest'oggi
true
per
there. So this is
sfidarsi
definitely the
in
time
questa
now
EICMA
for
Sports Arena. È
anyone
stato
else
molto
to still
bello
come in
poterli
and
vedere,
get
sarà
what they
bello
can, and
sentirli e conoscerli in
it-
quello
it's
che per
time-
noi è un
Oh,
podio. Sono già
apologies,
arrivati i
coughing there a little
presenti?
bit.
Looks like
Allora,
they might be
creiamo
hitting
un
out
numero,
awards here.
così insieme li
Yeah.
andremo a premiare. Giacomo
so-
Casartelli, direttore esecutivo di EICMA, un bel applauso, facciamoci sentire, dai,
what they
siamo
got
dei bei
going on
cacciaroni,
here.
bravi. E a te toccherà, caro il mio Giacomo, premiare il numero 3. Il numero 3. Tuo, aspetta. Poi chiamiamo il presidente di EICMA, Paolo Magri. Medaglia d'argento e amministratore delegato di EICMA. Cosa? Va bene. Eh no, bisogna dirle tutte le cariche, è un podio questo, è una cosa importante. E il presidente di EICMA, Pietro
I
Meda.
believe they were saying
Qua
these
c'è
are
loro, qua
the
c'è loro.
presidents
E allora chiamiamo
and
anche
the
i
big
primi tre
organizers
classificati,
of the
premi
EICMA
molto
event
belli e
here who are
importanti per loro.
presenting
Facciamo come
the-
i podi, quelli
the
veri. Chiamiamo
championship
prima il terzo
awards here.
classificato. Un grande applauso per
And it looks like they're going to
Aiden.
get legit plates, which is pretty cool. Mr. Aiden. Coming in with that third spot on the
Congrats.
podium.
How special
Shout
has
outs to Aiden and
been
congrats.
this day
Good,
for you?
It's
They
been
look
very
very
good,
good.
definitely
Look really
something
good.
different, like I've said, but I've had a lot of fun. So the guys that put it up, EICMA and in it, like, they're really great. I've really enjoyed it today. It's really fun.
Really fun, si è divertito, è stato divertente. Vai. È stata una bella giornata per lui. Terzo classificato.
Rimaniamo lì. Rimani lì.
Secondo, ok, perfect. You stay here with us. Secondo classificato, un grande applauso per Linz.
second place.
Woo!
Second place that feels like a loss for Lens, but still, what a solid ride for him, Swords.
Second place
I mean,
is enough
again-
for you, or you thought to be better than second? I don't know.
I came in expecting to podium, so I'm happy with a second. I'm just a bit disappointed in myself to lose it so close to the finish. But it's been a really fun event. I've really enjoyed it. And again, thank you to EICMA and everyone that's put this on. It's a massive thing for a community like ours to be recognised like this. So hopefully this is the start of things to come.
Grazie. Thank you so much.
And
Picture.
again, to your point right there, Nabo, you could tell he was just very disappointed with the
E ora
the
un
second moto that
grandissimo
almost
applauso.
was, but ultimately wasn't. But again, he said he came there to podium, and he most certainly podiumed.
Primo
But I think he had
classificato,
the win right there
il
within
vincitore
his
di questa
grasp. But that
premiazione
leaves one,
EICMA
Nabo, and there can only be
Esports
one at the end of
MX
this all,
Championship è
and that
Cam.
one is Mr. Cam.
The most dominant one-legged man right now on the track.
Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
I love the way your friends congrats you.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? It's very nice.
How has it been today for you? Difficult.
It's been a good day. I had such a stressful time trying to catch Linz in the last race, but I've enjoyed it. It's been really fun. So thank you, EICMA, for putting this on.
Grazie a te. Cam, we have a special gift for you.
Ooh.
So, Andrea
Special
Adamo,
gift for Mr.
c'è
Cam. What
una
could this be, Mr.
sorpresa
Nato?
speciale, un grande campione.
They're gonna give him the truck. They're gonna give him the truck.
Campione del MX2.
Whoa!
Pronto a portarti un
That is Andre Adamo.
bel regalo.
That's the man himself.
Ah, difficult.
That is the
Vieni, Andrea.
250 MX2 World Champion, folks. Andre
Come te la
Adamo.
cavi tu sui
Red Bull
simulatori?
KTM.
Malissimo.
Meglio a premiare, meglio,
That-
meglio
that's
nella
an
tua
honor.
specialità.
That's an honor right
Meglio
there.
premiare e andare in moto realmente.
And he gets a
Sui
fancy
simulatori
watch.
male male.
The fancy
Male
Tissot
male
watch.
addirittura?
What a guy.
Puoi chiedere qualche lezione al ragazzo?
Esatto, se troviamo il simulatore, ci troviamo da qualche parte, magari mi può dare qualche lezioncina.
Where did they hide Mr. Adamo at? That's awesome.
He needs some lessons from you.
Oh, I can give some lessons, yeah.
Grazie. Bravo, complimenti. Congratulations.
What a moment.
Steffi, abbiamo
You love
anche
to see it.
un omaggio per i nostri...
I just wish Cam would smile more.
Abbiamo anche un omaggio
So
I imagine
serious.
per
the adrenaline dump for
grandissimi
Cam
direttori
has
di
to be
EICMA.
unlike anything he's ever
E grazie
experienced.
tantissime per averci ospitato e aver iniziato un trend che spero che ci sarà per molti anni. Quindi ti ripasso il microfono e consegno le maglie ufficiali EICMA a voi tre.
Ti aiuto, mostriamole anche in camera. Dai, guarda, ti faccio io da assistente. Uela! Una.
Looks like they got the sponsors and organizers here and presidents. They got them all a
Numero due.
jersey. That looks pretty nifty.
Ah, yeah. Where's ours?
Ti vogliamo vedere sulla moto con questa, Paolo.
We're crew, aren't we? We count? No, I'm playing.
Gioca a padel, ha 1000 risorse, il press.
They look comfy. They look very breathable.
È il presidente di EICMA, Pietro Meda.
Yeah, yeah.
Allora,
The ICMA
aspetta,
president
però io
himself.
voglio
All
dire una cosa,
smiles.
perché io tifo sempre per le donne. E c'è stata anche una grandissima donna che ci ha aiutato tantissimo a fare le cose qua. Daniela, puoi salire? Ce l'abbiamo anche per te la maglia. Aspetta che vado a prendere.
Oh. Daniela si è presa in carico voli, ospitalità dei ragazzi, si merita la sua maglia anche la Dani.
Grazie.
Dove ti vedremo sfoggiarla? Moto, padel, cosa fai tu?
Moto?
Moto, in moto, insomma, che domanda è?
Sempre in moto.
Sempre in moto. E allora,
Bisogna fare il tifo anche per le donne, no?
certo, ovvio. L'anno prossimo aspettiamo qui anche delle ragazze a giocare, ovviamente.
Ovviamente.
Che non sia io perché...
Anche te domani. Lo sai che te lo devo far fare.
Sì, pronti a ridere. Chi ha voglia di ridere viene a vedermi giocare. Detto tutto questo, chiamiamo anche coloro che si sono classificati sotto al podio, perché... No, restate, perché ci sono premi per tutti, ovviamente. Sono i 10 migliori di questa prima edizione dell'MX Championship, quindi è giusto premiare tutti. Premi meravigliosi. Il primo classificato andrà alla MotoGP in Qatar, Hotel 5 Stelle, è un premione.
Beh, allora bisogna che diventi bravo a giocare ai videogiochi, perché qui
I still find it
sono
amazing
belli.
they got him
Ti
to
conviene,
give
caro
Cam.
mio.
Ti tocca.
Ti
that.
tocca. E
You
allora
just you have to keep
li
saying it. That is
chiamiamo, dal
the
quarto classificato,
MX2
Jake.
World Champion
Jake, number 4,
Andre
number
Adamo
4.
on the
Where is she? Come on
podium
up.
for
Thank
MX
you.
Bike's first ever LAN event.
Ciao
that-
Jake.
Here.
Is that Adamo? Or
Dorian.
That
is that
Dorian,
Jorge
please.
Prado?
That is that is
Come
Andre
on.
Adamo. That is Andre Adamo. Yes.
6th place for Willy.
Willy!
It's still so cool.
It's
so cool.
insane.
And
Oh yeah,
Third
no,
place
yeah,
for
no, you're
Victor.
right. Yeah, absolutely.
Reaper Dog.
Man,
There
look
we
at this.
Yay!
There we go. The big group photo.
9th place for Valentin.
Mr. Reaper Doc.
I love my boy Doc.
E James.
James! Woo! Yay!
I think that you all deserve our congratulations. Congrats for what you did during this period.
I feel like
So I
Jam's
think
just
that
happy to be
it's,
out there right now.
It's been
Jam's just
a
happy.
great experience for all of you. It's your first time in Milan. For all of you, it's the first time. Wow. What do you think about Milan and EICMA?
Crazy.
honestly. That's all I can say.
How can you describe EICMA and what have you seen around this arena, this area?
It's very incredible. I never think I do that.
Wow, bravo. And what about your passion? How can you describe your passion?
Passion for bikes.
I don't know, for bikes, for esports, and so on.
I mean, I think it's a cool thing what you guys did here. I really enjoy this game, and it's cool to see my passion like bring me all the way over here, in a place I've never been.
Grazie. Stefi, vuoi andare di qua?
Io passo di qua, facciamo un po' inglese e un po' in italiano, così capisce anche bene il pubblico cosa rispondono.
Scusami, io ho dato per scontato che
No, va bene.
il fatto che siano tutti qui a Milano per la prima volta.
No, ma è bellissima sta cosa, anche perché una cosa fantastica da dire è che questi ragazzi giocano online, ok? Ed è la prima volta che si sono incontrati di persona. Non si sono mai incontrati prima e questa è la bellezza degli e-sport. Puoi fare una community e avere degli amici in giro per il mondo, e quando facciamo eventi come questo, un LAN event, il primo speriamo di molti qui ad EICMA, hanno la possibilità di conoscersi di persona, quindi
Anche
bellissimo.
perché poi Stefi, insomma, la passione che accomuna tutte le persone qui in giro per gli stand è bellissima da far vedere quanto può essere sociale, e il loro essere qui secondo me è qualcosa di speciale, perché è bellissimo, grazie ad EICMA che ha dato la possibilità a questi ragazzi di incontrare la loro passione e di incontrarsi tra di loro.
Sì. Allora passiamo a Victor. Good race, what do you think?
Yeah, pretty good race. I fucked up a little bit, but
Oh, God.
congrats to
Oh, no,
Lins,
Victor.
to Cam, and to Aiden. Yeah, just couldn't keep up. Yeah. Hopefully there will be a next time. Thank you to EICMA for having us here for
We
hosting
apologize
the whole
for
event.
the
Also thank you to Mook and to Stone
bit of
Rider.
language.
We'll apologize.
Yeah.
He's German. We forgive him.
Allora dice che sicuramente non è stata un'esperienza
lovely wife is half
bellissima,
German, and I can
non è
say they are
andato molto
very
forte
literal
come pensava,
sometimes.
però
I mean
fa
nothing
la
of it.
congratulazione ai primi tre che sono arrivati. Linz, we already talked to you, but if you want to say a couple things.
Yeah. Again, thank you everyone for coming out, and thank you to Nico, and thank you Stone Rider for the track. Thank you to you as well for making this possible. And then also shout out to D Mills for helping me with the suspension, otherwise I'd be useless today. Who else do I have to thank? Oh, and then thank you FXR Racing for sponsoring me and getting me here as well. And I feel like this is a great community for brands to look into and get involved with, and I'm hoping that this is big things for moving forwards.
Linz ringrazia tutti quelli che l'hanno supportato, proprio come nelle gare vere. Questi ragazzi sono sponsorizzati, quindi ha fatto la lista dei suoi sponsor. Se volete seguirli li potete seguire online, ed è molto contento di essere qua con tutti noi.
Stefi, a proposito di sponsor, sì.
un secondo solo.
And subscribe to Linz on YouTube, please. Thank you.
Content creator ha detto di fare la subscription al suo canale.
Giusto.
Dimmi Federico.
No, a proposito di sponsor, fra poco c'è lo sponsor, uno sponsor che ha deciso di fare un bel regalo a tutti questi ragazzi,
shameless
però
plug from Linz.
finiamo
Only
il
a
giro e
shameless
poi
plug.
torniamo sul palco con
I mean, you've got the floor, you've got the stage.
So
What do you got to lose at this point?
And
want
stuff coming for you.
I wonder if
So,
Reproduct's
was it?
gonna do it also.
It was really good. Obviously, shout out to Stone Rider. The track was really good, and Mook as well.
You have to honestly, I mean, again, huge shout out to Cam, huge shout out to Linz, but what about Aiden Navo coming out here and getting the third overall spot on the podium? And I mean no disrespect to Aiden, but I don't know if I would have picked that.
Adesso parlo in inglese, a voi, scusatemi. No.
I probably wouldn't either.
Dice che è una
I thought Dorian and Victor.
la prima, anche lui spera di tante, perché c'è bisogno di fare sempre più eventi di questo genere per riunire un po' il mondo degli
not
e-sport.
the biggest on the Supercross for both of the Frenchmen, and
Yeah, that was amazing.
it's got to be disappointing for them,
The
but
best throughout the entire season that we've had. That racing was so much fun.
it's how it be sometimes.
It is.
Lui dice che
As they say,
la
that is
gara
why
è stata bellissima
they
perché è stata
race.
una delle più combattute di tutta la stagione, un
All the
po' perché la
pre-race
pista è un
hype, all
pochino più
the
corta di quello che abbiamo
analytics, all
fatto,
that goes out the window.
nel
Still got to drop
campionato
the gate
online,
and go
e quindi
get
ha
the
detto che si
job
è
done.
divertito
And
tantissimo
Aiden did
perché
that.
c'erano tante battaglie.
He did for his
Federica?
best finish of the entire event
To next one.
through all the qualifying to get
in the
third
middle.
and third.
I say in the middle. Which kind of experience
And Mr. Reaper Doc.
you had here in Milan?
This was incredible. I was nowhere near being able to qualify a few months ago and really had to work to get here. And I'm just super blessed to be here. I want to thank Alexander PCs for helping me have a computer to be able to compete, and Panic Rev for just supporting and believing in me, and all these guys for the tracks and in it and EICMA, everything has just been, it's been so much more than I could have ever imagined.
Meglio di come se l'era immaginata, ringraziando ovviamente chi l'ha supportato. Bello vedere gli occhi di questi ragazzi, la loro passione. It's all about passion here, I think.
I can't imagine to participate this event, and I'm so happy to participate in.
Where are you from? France?
France, yes.
Insomma, arrivano dall'America, dall'Inghilterra, dalla Germania, dalla Francia, e tutti hanno però questo spirito, non si aspettavano una cosa così bella, anche perché poi incontrarsi all'interno di una fiera, quella che è la più longeva nella storia delle due ruote, credo sia qualcosa di speciale anche per loro. E allora, a proposito di qualcosa di speciale,
aspetta, prima
That
salutiamo
definitely
Andrea
had to
perché
be a
sa
little
che
bit
deve
difficult for
andare.
Dorian. I know
Ti
he
mettiamo un
does
secondo in
not
mezzo
speak a lot
perché
of
tutti
English.
questi ragazzi qua,
He
siccome
is a
fanno
great guy,
motocross
but
digitale, ti adorano. Quindi non vedono l'ora
English
di
is
essere
not his
bellissimi
strong
in una
suit
foto con
for the
tutti,
Frenchman.
con tutti quanti. You can go closer.
Everybody's afraid of Adamo.
Can some of you maybe crunch down so it becomes better? Grazie, Andrea.
I mean, he's a champion, man. He's a real life champion. You get that,
Bravi.
you get a little
Wild.
starstruck. It happens.
Dal mondo
Andrea.
digitale al mondo reale. Bellissimo.
tutto diventa realtà ad EICMA, Stefi. Grazie a te, Andrea.
Ciao.
Grazie.
Ciao.
Grazie per essere
Man.
stato con noi. Ciao, a presto.
What a moment.
Dicevamo, something is coming for you, so it's time to
And absolutely.
ask to
A crazy
Walter
moment.
Giannini.
For you guys.
Cosa?
Ha detto ancora più premi.
Sì, certo, non finiscono mai. Walter Giannini, ciao. Ciao, piacere, benvenuto. Tu sei direttore marketing, sport marketing
prizes to give
director,
out?
manager.
This is crazy.
It is
di OK.
absolutely
E so che hai
insane.
portato qualcosa di speciale per questi ragazzi. Cosa hai portato?
Esattamente. Hi guys, for you there's a little gift from the Oakley side. So for each of you there's Oakley Prism gaming glasses, so to help you while you ride, and a goggle signed from Jeffrey Erlings because he was here. So we decided to give you this special gift. I hope you appreciate it.
5 times world champion.
Dagliele
Yeah.
tu.
Vai.
Did you hear that? All Oakley glasses.
So
they're
the glasses are the
special
new
kind of like gaming
Helix,
glasses
so
and a
designed for
goggles
gaming,
signed by Jeffrey
and
Hurley.
especially
Sono degli occhiali Oakley
very
speciali disegnati
That is
appositamente per il mondo del
absolutely
gaming.
insane.
Uno a testa.
You know that you all need to wear it, right?
Wow.
Lens looks quite fashionable in those.
Those things are, I mean,
E
those
poi
are sick.
Jeffrey Herlings ha firmato, 5 volte campione del mondo, ha firmato le mascherine che i ragazzi hanno
I
tra
want
le
my own
mani.
pair.
Un grande applauso.
What a commentating pair.
Ce ne sono altri, vai. Glieli consegniamo con Walter che li ha ampiamente raccontati ai ragazzi. Sapevi di vincere facile, in buona
Put the
sostanza. Con,
glasses on. Come on, let's thank the sponsor.
pilota
Let's put it
meraviglioso.
on. You want the
May I help you
goggles?
to wear it?
All right.
Which one do you like to wear? This one?
We all know when Linz does his streams with his helmets on, it is going to be those goggles on that helmet.
Sì, sì.
Oh, they're all different colors. I'm just now noticing that. That's very cool.
I do love the Oakleys.
Look like you just finished
I do love Oakleys.
When I was 15, a little story time, Navo. When I was 15, many years ago,
Everybody ready?
the first official paycheck that I ever got from the local grocery store that I worked at, you know what I spent the entire paycheck on? A pair of Oakley sunglasses. And to this day, I look back and I'm like, man, I was not very smart.
Look, the Oakley gas cans have been and will always be my favorite pair of sunglasses.
Yeah, I think those were
I have
oil
been-
rigs, the old oil rigs.
Oh yeah, I love the oil rigs too. The gas cans have been my pair of sunglasses for years and years. Although Mrs. Navo, not a fan of them. She won't let me wear them around her.
Non va. Ah. Fantastic. Everybody, congratulations. Thank you to Oakley.
Congratulations.
Okay, so I think for today is concluded. Thank you everybody for being here to support our gamers. We hope we have inspired you a little bit. Please, go ahead, play games, have fun,
and
then buy motorcycles.
that is about to close it
So we
out
can go
for
and
us
race.
as well, Sword.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
It has
Tomorrow
been
we're
a
gonna
ride
have
this morning.
Another event.
It
It's
has
gonna
been a
be the
ride.
VIP.
It was a
The
lot of
top
uncertainty
three,
going
so
into it, but as
Aiden
it
and
went
Liz are
on,
gonna
everything
compete
worked
on
out very
simulators
well. I'm very
tomorrow
glad we
on
got to
this
do this
stage
Navo.
against
And
the
yeah,
VIP
I
riders.
look
So
forward to
don't
see
miss it. And
what
watch it
happens
on
next.
Twitch. EICMA official. Thank you. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, congratulations. Ciao, ciao.
All right, well, have a good night from us, Sword, and myself, Navo the Factory Goon. Thank you guys for joining the English commentary stream, and we will see you guys next time.
Take care, guys.